And House Speaker Mike Johnson says now is not the time for Congress to consider a war powers resolution over Iran. Wall Street dipped on the word of the missile attack on Qatar, has since rebounded sharply. An hour before the close, the Dow is up 206 points, NASDAQ trading 144 points higher. Crude oil prices are down more than 7%. America is listening to Fox News.
Phone. 93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A teenager is being blamed. A heat advisory this afternoon. 92 is the current temperature on Monument Circle, but you do have a high at 95. An extreme heat warning is in effect for northern Indiana. No rain on radar. I'm Chris Davis. Here's what's trending at 3:02. A 16-year-old is under arrest, charged with unlawfully carrying a handgun as a minor in a shooting on Monument Circle in downtown Indianapolis that happened shortly before 2 this morning. Indianapolis Metro police officers heard the shots while near Gainbridge Fieldhouse working crowd control and found 2 men and a woman shot. They also found the gun that was used. Heat illness possible this week. Johnette Cruz.
As Central Indiana bakes under extreme heat, it's crucial to know the signs of heat-related illness. Here's what to watch for to stay safe from Wish TV's medical expert, Dr. Janelle Gordon.
Mild abdominal and leg cramps to heat exhaustion, where individuals may find themselves profusely sweating. They're nauseous, they may vomit, headaches, and including as severe as heat stroke.
If your body temperature reaches 103 degrees, is no longer sweating, and you become confused without symptoms improving in an hour, seek medical attention immediately. Johnette Cruz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
9 people to serve on the Indiana Economic Development Corporation's Board of Directors, says Governor Braun. John Herrick reports.
Braun saying Monday morning that the new appointees come from all over the state, and they've got experience from across the spectrum of Indiana's economy, from agriculture to manufacturing and retail. He also emphasized that this is part of an effort to grow wages and build new job opportunities for Hoosiers. Among the 9 people are Don Lamb of Lebanon, who's the director of the Indiana State Department of Agriculture, and John Gregg, a former Speaker of the Indiana House of Representatives. Sean Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
An apparent drowning at a lake in Lagodi. 33-year-old Mitchell Warland went down and never came up, according to witnesses, says the Department of Natural Resources. That happened shortly before 7 o'clock Saturday night, and his body was found around 9:30. The injury that took Tyrese Haliburton from Game 7 Sunday night is being reported as a tear of the right Achilles tendon, says ESPN. You've got traffic and weather in 1 minute.
By now, you've heard about IndianaUnclaimed.gov. It's a way to claim your unclaimed property from the Indiana Attorney General's Unclaimed Property Division. It's not a scam. It's not houses, boats, cars, or storage facilities. It isn't free money. So what exactly is it? It's your money. It belongs to you, and it's waiting for you to claim it. It's money from unclaimed wages or commissions, forgotten bank accounts, underlying shares, refunds, insurance proceeds, stock dividends, safe deposit box contents, overpayments, certificates of deposit, money orders, and more. The Indiana Attorney General's Unclaimed Property Division safeguards those funds while trying to locate and return those funds to the owner or heir. It's your money, you deserve it, and the Attorney General's office wants to make sure you get it. The Attorney General's Unclaimed Property Division has over $800 million just waiting to be claimed. Text Hammer and Nigel to 46220. That's Hammer and Nigel to 46220. Or visit IndianaUnclaimed.gov to claim yours today.
Now your forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
The heat advisory has been extended until Friday in central Indiana for today, this afternoon. Hot and humid, high temperatures in the mid-90s, plenty of sunshine. Feels like heat index value into the triple digits. Tonight, mostly clear, low temperatures in the mid-70s. Tuesday will be mostly sunny to start, turning partly cloudy in the afternoon. Hot and humid. Spotty afternoon storm possible. Highs in the mid-90s. On Wish TV, Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
I'm Chris Davis, on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime, Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
A lot easier. We attacked Iran. That's President Trump late Saturday night addressing the nation. The U.S. bombed Iran's 3 key nuke sites over the weekend. I get this text. It's Saturday night. I'm sitting on the couch. Everybody's kind of tired and just we're done for the night. And I couldn't find anything to watch. And then I get a text from Hammer. It's 7:54 p.m. Saturday night. And me and you and Rob Kendall are on this text thread. It just said, USA bombing Iran. And I go, oh, well, it looks like I know what I'm watching on TV for the next 12 hours.
Right.
And, okay. No new wars, no bombs. But Donald Trump thought this was key. You know, Donald Trump did what he thought he needed to do. And this, it's kind of like Israel a couple of weeks ago did, the foundational stuff, and we brought in the heavy hand.
And the update today is that Iran is trying to fire back at a United States Air Force base overseas. But the real reality is this base in Qatar, it was evacuated last week.
Yeah, they knew this was coming.
Right. This wasn't a big secret. So it's not like they're finding the busiest airport on the busiest day.
I'm pretty sure Iran flagged. Gave him the hey, just so you know, we got to do some sort of it was just like when Trump killed Soleimani in 2020 and they lobbed some rocket into an Air Force base in Iraq.
Right.
To save some face, basically.
Correct. So they can use their state-run media to say, we're responding to the aggression of the Americans. Well, you told us it was coming. All the missiles were intercepted, and the base was basically empty anyway.
Yeah.
So do what you need to do with state-run media, but let's get to the table here. And listen, we could sit here and argue back and forth about whether this was the right thing to do, whether it was the wrong thing to do. It's divided a lot of folks, even on the political right.
Oh, yeah.
But the one thing you can't take away is how badass our brave men and women are that executed this thing. This was a 37-hour flight for multiple stealth bombers carrying 2 big bad mama jammas aboard. 37-hour flights round trip.
Bunker busters, right?
Correct.
MOAB?
They had 2 people aboard each bomber, and inside of this thing, they had a toilet, a microwave, a cot to sleep, a cooler for snacks. So while one person was sleeping, the other person was flying the stealth bomber, and then it was go time. It was perfectly executed.
Is it 36 hours one way from Missouri to
round trip?
Was a round trip? Okay. Wow.
And keep in mind, there were a couple other bombers that were used as a decoy that went to Guam.
Yes.
Because they filled out a flight path for it, and they knew somebody, the Washington Post, the New York Times, would leak it out there. Oh, look out. These stealth bombers, my sources are telling they're going to Guam. Well, they were as decoys.
Why? Okay, I have a question about that. And then there's a side question. Maybe you can answer it in the chat or at Hammer and Nigel on X. Why tell people after the fact that, oh, yeah, those are just decoys? Why even mention it? You know?
My first instinct is to show our American people how dishonest some of the media can be. Because it's almost like our media, they couldn't wait to get that tip out there to almost tip off the Iranians, to almost help them out. Now, maybe I'm the only one that thinks this way, but I don't think that I am. So many people jumped out there. Oh, yeah. Hey, look out. They're going to Guam. I bet they're going to act soon. If I was Iran, I'd be very careful. Okay.
But they did act. The United States did act. So my question is, why reveal? Why make it why highlight that we can, we made you think one thing, and then we did something totally different.
Well, they acted as a misdirection, though.
Right.
Like the Iranians had no idea that the stealth bombers were flying straight across from St. Louis.
Not even. That sounds crazy when you say that. And that didn't seem coming. Not so much as a pistol was shot in the air.
Nothing. Nobody shot a Roman candle at these things. They got in, they got out. It sounded like it was the perfect strike. The damage was done.
Yep.
That was a pretty badass way to execute something. I'm no military general, but that looked like that was a pretty badass way to execute something. Here is Pete Hegseth. He had a press conference on Sunday morning. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth.
He's badass.
Talking about what this mission accomplished.
The order we received from our commander-in-chief was focused, it was powerful, and it was clear. We devastated the Iranian nuclear program, but it's worth noting the operation did not target Iranian troops or the Iranian people. For the entirety of his time in office, President Trump has consistently stated for over 10 years that Iran must not get a nuclear weapon, full stop. Thanks to President Trump's bold and visionary leadership and his commitment to peace through strength, Iran's nuclear ambitions have been obliterated. Many presidents have dreamed of delivering the final blow to Iran's nuclear program, and none could until President Trump.
Now, let's make one thing perfectly clear, because there's a lot of morons out here on social media. This was not a declaration of war, okay? Bill Clinton had strategic airstrikes. Barack Obama had strategic airstrikes.
Many strategic airstrikes. He was a bombing fool.
And the way I interpret the Constitution is if you're going to have a declaration of war, yes, you need to get congressional approval. But for strategic airstrikes, like the ones we just mentioned and the one that took place this weekend, you can be the commander-in-chief and do your thing. Now, Pete Hegseth, again, Secretary of Defense, says peace is still on the table.
When this president speaks, the world should listen. And the U.S. military, we can back it up. The most powerful military the world has ever known. No other country on planet Earth could have conducted the operation that the chairman is going to outline this morning. Not even close. Just like Soleimani found out in the first term, Iran found out when POTUS says 60 days that he seeks peace and negotiation, he means 60 days of peace and negotiation. Otherwise, that nuclear program will not exist. He meant it. This is not the previous administration. The President Trump said no nukes. He seeks peace, and Iran should take that path.
Now, will Iran take that path? That's the question.
Do they have a choice at this point? Do they have any other? I mean, between us and Israel, we've obliterated them. I mean, I was flipping around on CNN watching, what's his name? Brett McGurk, who's a major Obama guy. He basically, this was on CNN, basically saying that the United States killed so many major military leaders and took out so many of their missiles that they don't really have any good responses.
Yeah, they're in short supply of missiles now.
Like he sent 6 missiles over to Qatar that all got shot down that were headed for a U.S. military base that was empty.
Correct. That's their big win right now. But the thing you have to worry about is the last 4 years, this southern border being wide open, how many ticked off Iranian sleeper cells were able to enter this country without anybody noticing? How many terrorist organizations were able to come in and now they're just waiting on the word? They're waiting on the thumbs up to execute some heinous plan because the southern border was wide open. Now, I hear a lot of people saying, well, regime change. That's what Donald Trump wants. No. That's never worked. Pete Hegseth addressed that too.
This mission was not and has not been about regime change. The president authorized a precision operation to neutralize the threats to our national interests posed by the Iranian nuclear program and the collective self-defense of our troops and our ally Israel.
So there you go. The plan as of right now, don't start none, won't be none. Okay? Don't start any nuclear activity. Don't start any crap with the United States, and we won't have to do this again. You had 60 days to at least make it look like you wanted to negotiate some sort of deal. You basically gave us the middle finger, so we took a couple of our finest pilots, men and women, They flew 37 hours round trip and dropped 6 MOAB bombs on your nuke facilities, got in and got out before you guys even realized they were gone. So, again, don't start none, won't be none. And it brings us to this old classic 1980s parody song. Like, when I hear this, I think of John McCain because he referenced this once when he was talking about bombing Iran, but in lieu of recent events, it's kind of making its way around social media again.
Bomb, 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 Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran.
Jeez. 1980 was the year there, Nige. 1980.
Oh, wow. I needed that. Thank you.
Look, nobody wants a war, right? Nobody wants a war, but let's not act like all of a sudden this is some sort of major world war. Just pump the brakes a little bit.
They were saying the exact same thing when Trump decimated Soleimani in 2020. World War III is about to break out.
Right. Matt Baer, what's up?
Northeast side crash, eastbound 465 after Allisonville Road. Right lane is blocked, and traffic is stopped back to Westfield Boulevard. A spill reported in this crash, a 29-minute delay to make it through that eastbound stretch. Inbound 65 slows 21st to Meridian Penn, a 4-minute delay. And southbound 6570, the construction delay, that is stop-and-go traffic right now, delayed 3 minutes. Traffic sponsored by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage. For limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping and code radio and get an extra 5% off. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
It's freaking hot. It's freaking hot. Heat advisory in effect, 94 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. We got to talk about the Pacers. We have to talk about what happened last night.
Wow.
The beating heart in my chest ripped out and stomped all over that floor. Oh, my goodness. Like, I'm proud of what the team accomplished. Sure. I'm proud of this group. But, the what if is going to keep me up at night. We'll talk about that next.
Tony Katz.
The ownership is transferred to his daughters, taking over a family business of this magnitude, this much in the public eye. That's a whole different level of can't be easy. Massive shoes to fill. No one needs to tell you that. People absolutely embrace this franchise and what it means to the city, what it means to the state. Go get them. I truly hope it all works the way you want it to. Honestly, all the best.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
It's one thing to save for retirement. It's another thing to feel ready for it. Trajan Wealth helped me build a real plan, a customized, tailor-made portfolio with less guesswork and more peace of mind. Matt Baer here. Hey, happy Monday. Jeff in the downtown office is my guy. He explained everything, gave me options, and never once tried to sell me something I didn't need. No pressure. I'm a Trajan client now, and I couldn't be happier. Call Trajan Wealth today and set your first appointment. It's free, 317-480-4040, or go to TrajanWealth.com. Here's what's cool about Trajan. They really took the time to get to know me. It wasn't like, here are a bunch of stocks to buy, or here's this month's IRA we're pushing. They listened. They responded with a portfolio that's tailored to my visions of life after work. Call today and learn more. 317-480-4040, or visit TrajanWealth.com. Remember, your first appointment is on them. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Paid advertisement.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Tony Katz here for Premier Arms in Brownsburg. This is your premier gun store. Premier Arms has the experience and know-how to help the new gun buyer and the most experienced marksman. They've been in business for over 20 years and have a friendly, knowledgeable staff that wants to help you, not talk down to you. Premier Arms in Brownsburg is family-friendly, so bring the kids. All ages are welcome. Everyone can find what they're looking for at Premier Arms in Brownsburg, 3754 South Green Street, online at premierarms.com. Tell them Tony Katz sent you, premierarms.com.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
The Hammer and Nigel Show.
Up top, Haliburton falls down, turns it over, and this will lead to Gilgeous-Alexander to the other end, where he sends it to Williams for a dunk. And Haliburton is face down in the Indiana offensive end. The trainer, Josh Corbeil, rushes out to take a look, and even a concerned Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is checking on Haliburton.
Oh, Mark Boyle on the Pacers Radio Network. OKC wins the championship 103-91, and that was the audio. It was about 7 minutes into the first quarter where Haliburton, now officially it's his Achilles, right?
Yep, it was made official earlier today. Shams Charania, who covers the NBA, it was an Achilles, right Achilles injury, tear.
He'd been dealing with a calf injury, right?
Correct.
And so is what happens is that if you have a calf injury, that could lead to what happened last night?
I have no idea. I'm not a doctor.
That's right. So the risk going into it, he knew that because his calf was compromised, if he overstressed it, there's a decent chance that something like that could happen.
I mean, think back to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers tweaked a calf in training camp.
Yes.
And that opening night with the Jets.
Yes.
It was an Achilles injury.
Well, what are you going to do, though? You're not going to not play if you're Haliburton, right? It's game 6. You're not going to sit there and not play in game 6.
Your season was on the line, right? The Pacers were facing elimination in game 6. So he played well. And he got through that game 6, and said, listen, I felt better than I thought I would.
And got to sit down for a lot of it towards the end because it was such a beatdown. And he was having a great game, too.
9 points in the first 7 minutes. 3 out of 4 from 3. He was confident. The shot looked good. He was aggressive. He was talking trash to some fans. And then that happened. And, man, I'm telling you, as a fan, just as a fan, I would almost rather lose by 50 with Haliburton on the floor, knowing that, okay, the better team won, than have that happen. Because the what if is going to drive me insane.
What if? But the Pacers were ahead by 1 at halftime?
They were. But I think everybody understood they're going to make an adjustment.
Yeah, they're going to go on a run. OKC will go on a
And we don't have our dude. Like, even if the turnovers get cut in half, like that's where having Haliburton on the floor would help cut some of those turnovers down. OKC was beatable yesterday.
Yeah.
They were beatable. The Pacers came out of the gate swinging. They looked like the better team. And I'll be damned if the basketball gods didn't just give us a middle finger, man.
So do we continue to wallow in our sorrows, or do we look back at an awesome season and an awesome playoffs? I got to watch Haliburton sink a shot to beat OKC with 0.3 of a second. With my son, we were freaking out. I'll always have that memory. Are we going to wallow in our sorrows, or are we going to, talk about expectations at the beginning of this year versus what eventually played out?
I think you can do both. Like the memories that we as a fan base had. Like I was in the arena for the crazy Milwaukee Bucks comeback. Yes. I wasn't in the Garden, but that Haliburton shot that bounced up and came down, that game winner basically at Cleveland, the long three-pointer. I mean, he had heroics in every round. And now, if this injury is going to be on par with other similar injuries, like Jason Tatum, like Aaron Rodgers, he's out for most of next year, maybe all of it. So
that changes the whole dynamic of the Pacer roster.
It does. Everything they were going to do in the offseason, now you've got to think, okay, do we go after a guard now? Is this a throwaway year? Like, you hate to do that in a championship window, but if he's going to be out for a full year, that hurts, man. Here's Pacer head coach Rick Carlisle after the game last night talking about Tyrese Haliburton.
He authored one of the great individual playoff runs in the history of the NBA with dramatic play after dramatic play. It was just something that no one's ever seen. And did it as one of 17. You know, that's the beautiful thing about him. As great a player as he is, it's always a team thing. And so our hearts go out to him, but so proud of everyone.
In the locker room, Obi Toppin speaking to our news partners, Wish TV.
We need a tie out there, and he's been good for us all year. And for him to go down, getting a game like that, it's like it sucked the soul out of us. I ain't gonna say out of everybody, but I don't feel like I played good because I was thinking about it the whole day, and I felt like it was my fault.
Obi saying, I felt like it was my fault because I couldn't stop thinking about our fallen captain here. TJ McConnell, he was seen after the game like just an emotional mess.
Oh, man, McConnell was a wreck.
Hugging his mom, crying.
Reggie.
Hugging Reggie
Miller
crying.
in the tunnel.
And then Tyrese Haliburton at the end of the game was on crutches greeting his teammates as he came by.
He could have been in the locker room feeling sorry for himself after something like that happened. But he wasn't. He was up greeting us. You know, a lot of us were hurting from the loss, and he was up there consoling us. That's who Tyrese Haliburton is.
Yeah, McConnell played his butt off. He had a great series.
I like him, man. And
but
he was in rough shape after the game.
He was. His mom was trying to shoo away the camera because they were just having a meltdown.
Yeah.
At that same press conference, TJ McConnell talked about this past year and Pacer fans just kind of falling in love with this team.
They're absolutely incredible. Just want to apologize for coming up short. We wouldn't be in this position without them. They've willed us to a lot of wins, and it's an honor and a pleasure to play in front of them.
Dude, don't apologize.
No need to apologize.
The dude that's on that team that does not need to apologize is TJ McConnell. He bowled out as hard as he could. Let's be honest. He's not gifted with great height, strength, but man, he's got the heart of a lion in there, and he played his butt off. He gave it everything he had. The Pacers did. That was a beatable OKC team yesterday. They were beatable. And I think with Tyrese on the floor, I think the Pacers would have beaten them. But now decisions have to be made because it looks like he's probably out for the next season. It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance
Mark
accepted.
Diehl is the only local real estate agent I would trust with the sale of my home. He's the only local real estate agent I would trust with finding me a new one. How about Luke and Emma in Franklin? They found a perfect piece of land. Started building a new dream home, but they did need to sell their old place at the right price to fund the dream home. They got the Mark Diehl team on it. Multiple offers in the first weekend, closed in 25 days. Selling was stress-free and profitable with Mark Diehl.
And here's what separates Mark Dietel from the competition. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. That's right, he will buy it. Pick your move date, no long-term contracts. You can cancel at any time. Mark Dietel, he's a game changer. 317-755-4232. That's 317-755-4232, or go to markdietel.com.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A more than slight delay coming back. A heat advisory for central Indiana, a heat warning for northern Indiana. It's 92 on Monument Circle. No rain on radar. I'm Chris Davis. Here's what's trending.
He authored one of the great individual playoff runs in the history of the NBA with dramatic play after dramatic play. It was just something that no one's ever seen.
Pacers coach Rick Carlisle post Game 7, and perhaps the most dramatic moment of the season was Haliburton's grimace as he lay prone with what ESPN now confirms is a torn right Achilles tendon. Though Carlisle says Haliburton will return, that's not a certainty for at least some of next season because of the nature of that injury. A U.S. base in Qatar attacked. Iran takes responsibility. Fox's Rich Edson reports.
The indications of it all are that this is a way for an off-ramp for the Iranian government. Al-Udeid is a very hard target in that area. It's the largest U.S. presence in the region. Iran can fire several missiles at it. They can be intercepted and not cause any significant damage or as much damage as it otherwise could have. And it allows the Iranians to say to their people, and remember, this is a huge element of this, the Ayatollahs wanting to stay in power in that country, the nuclear program being a large part of control over their own country and the domestic concerns there, they can say that we've hit the United States in its massive air base right across the strait there, and that the United States was harmed in this attack.
The big, beautiful bill still in play, and Senator Lindsey Graham discussed that with reporters this morning.
I will make sure that we do another reconciliation bill and that we can do some things on spending we haven't figured out yet. My main goal is to reduce spending as much as we can now, come back later to do other things, make the tax cuts permanent now so the economy can grow and have certainty.
Graham says the Senate plans on doing two bills instead of just one big one. You've got traffic and weather in 1 minute.
School's out. What are you going to do with the stacks of your kids' A-plus papers, artwork, and jerseys from the year? Probably box them up and store them in an out-of-sight space, like your basement. Your basement needs to be safe and dry. If your basement is showing any problem signs, condensation, wet floors and walls, musty smells, mold and rot, Indiana Foundation Service can help. These problem signs can be an indicator that your home might be due for basement waterproofing. From wall anchors to vapor barriers and sump pumps and dehumidifiers, they've seen it all and can do it all. This includes encapsulating your crawl space too, and making that a safe space for your valuable belongings and added storage. They'll work with you to find the permanent solution your basement and crawl space needs to stay dry year-round. Visit IndianaFoundation.com for a free inspection and no-pressure quote today. Indiana Foundation Service. There's a reason they are the trusted local experts.
Indiana Foundation Service, reliability from the ground up.
Traffic on 93 WIBC. Here's Matt Bear.
All right, Chris, looking at eastbound 465, we are jammed to hell right now, Westfield Boulevard over to I-69 because of a breakdown blocking the right lane right now. It is a crash, right lane closed. Traffic stopped all the way to Meridian. My stuff says 32 minutes on the delay. I've been told people are waiting for an hour and a half right now. So this is a spot to avoid. It's eastbound 465 after Meridian to I-69. Jam traffic. Inbound 69 stop and go from 106 to 465 for a 4-minute delay. Southbound 65 slows 29 to Meridian Bend. And the construction delay. Heading southbound 65 70 stop and go from the north split to the south split delayed 6 minutes. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Right now, B Window is extending their employee discount to you. Get 55% off all products and services, plus 18 months, no interest or payments. Trust local. Trust employee owned. Trust your home to bwindow.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Now your forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Heat advisory has been extended until Friday in central Indiana for today, this afternoon. Hot and humid, high temperatures in the mid-90s, plenty of sunshine. Feels like heat index value into the triple digits. Tonight, mostly clear, low temperatures in the mid-70s. Tuesday will be mostly sunny to start, turning partly cloudy in the afternoon. Hot and humid. Spotty afternoon storm possible. Highs in the mid-90s. On Wish TV, Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
I'm Chris Davis, on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
The only way to bag a classy lady is to give her 2 tickets to the gun show.
It's Monday Gun Day with the gun guy.
Just watch out for the guns. They'll get you.
Guy Relford.
Stop calling your arms guns.
Hammer and Nigel show.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here, also joining us live in studio. Guy Relford, host of the Gun Guy Show, Saturdays on 93 WIBC, 2A attorney, licensed firearms instructor. Man, Guy, knucklehead juveniles with guns. There's nothing that drives you more nuts, I would say. Me, anyway. I'm not speaking for you, but just, another shooting on the Circle last night. Hell, last week on Meridian, there was a shooting, and the Oceanair's window, I believe, was blown out, and now it's all boarded up.
Yeah,
so nothing frustrates you.
I saw both those. 16-year-old arrested eventually after the shooting last night. By the way, can't forget our sponsor.
Yes, sorry
for
about
Monday Gun Day, Premier Arms in Brownsburg with the largest selection of new, used, and historic firearms in the Midwest. And PA Jewelers located in a farmhouse right out front. Check them out at 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg or premierarms.com. But yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. You see, there was a shooting, 3 people wounded. After the game last night. I'm not saying there's any connection to the game, just time frame wise. And then a 16-year-old is arrested on Monument Circle. This shooting happened. That's frustrating.
But that's so weird because when we talk about how, hey, sometimes it's not real safe downtown, all the bleeding hearts, all the super libs in the city, they'll put out a video of themselves having coffee on the Circle. Yeah. Well, I'm not getting shot.
At 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
You're not supposed to be getting shot. That's the problem. That's what we're talking about. Like, I'm sure you hear the same stuff too, Guy. The super progressive, anti-gun Democrat voters, the people that keep putting Hogsett and mirrors in office. I don't think downtown has a problem. Yet, if you were to sit up on our balcony and just watch action every Friday and Saturday night, you're going to see some stuff.
Yeah, and the bad stuff usually, as you say, Jason, happens at night. But at the same time, I personally, walking over here to do Monday Gun Day from Potbelly Subs, walking past the Circle Theater, some aggressive panhandler was threatening to kill me, dust me, otherwise was threatening me if I didn't give him some money. And,
How did that turn out for him, Guy?
Yeah, well, look, by the grace of God, I did not have to shoot him. And I was saying a little prayer during that confrontation. Please don't make me shoot this guy. But he was arrested for intimidation, was convicted, and apparently had threatened other people with a hammer. And that's why he went to jail for a substantial period of time, as well as for threatening me. And that was at 3:30 on my way up here to do Monday Gun Day on a Friday or on a Monday afternoon. So it happens at all kinds of times. And a lot of just the complete absence of city control over downtown. And look, IMPD, I think, does the best job. The rank and file, they do the best job they possibly can under the circumstances. I just don't think this administration, for 10 years now, has simply empowered them to do the job that needs to be done. And it's not just, people getting shot at 1 a.m. on Monument Circle. It's also, the family having to walk around the guy who's relieving himself in the middle of the afternoon on Monument Circle. And how many times have we all seen that as people who work down here?
You've got footage on your phone, I believe, Hammer, of a man treating his body like an amusement park right on our sidewalk.
Right outside of our window. Yeah.
And it's not unusual. And so all those things go together. They all lead to an atmosphere that keeps a lot of people from coming downtown.
So let's talk about that, because there are a lot of people listening right now that do not own a firearm.
Yep.
The idea of firearms might be kind of scary for them, and that's okay. But they're starting to feel like maybe I should. What would be your message to those people listening right now that, like, maybe they work downtown, or they just want to come downtown for a carriage ride or have dinner at one of the restaurants, but downtown's changed probably over the last 10, 15 years, maybe since they used to come down on the regular. What would be your advice to that person?
Well, consider your options. And, if someone is hesitant about possessing a firearm, buying a firearm, carrying a firearm, I understand that. But there are a lot of options available to you for training. I don't do the group classes anymore, but a lot of the ranges around, my friends at Indy Arms and a lot of other places provide that kind of training. But you also have other options. I'm a big fan of OC spray, pepper spray. And that can be very, very useful in an encounter. And you can buy that over the counter. You can buy it on Amazon. Check out some YouTubes on how to use it appropriately. There's ways to use it, ways not to, and any number of other options. But training is paramount. Information is paramount, but consider what your options are. We have constitutional carry now. You don't need a license to carry if you're a law-abiding citizen who's not prohibited by state or federal law from possessing a gun. You can carry a firearm in public, and that's available as an option to you. If you're concerned about that, training is the cure.
Don't some states offer, or at least they've tried to offer, a tax break for those who get properly trained on a firearm?
Yeah, there was a bill this year that I was in favor of. It was funny. It's funny. The first time ever, Moms Demand Action and I agreed on a bill. And as unbelievable as that might sound, and I had the liberal press getting a hold of me saying, how do you feel about this bill? And they were expecting me to oppose it. And I said, I'm in favor of it. In fact, I met with Senator Young at the federal level. I met with Todd Young and proposed this at the federal level to get this done. And he seemed enthusiastic when I met with him, and then it went nowhere. But it was the idea that if you either buy a secure firearm storage device, meaning a safe or something similar, or go to training and spend your money to be a safe, responsible gun owner, as I've been advocating for decades and decades, then you ought to get a tax break for that. And we had a bill this year that unfortunately didn't get passed.
Have you heard of there's a company in Fort Wayne that makes something called the Burn-A pistol?
Yeah. It essentially shoots a pepper ball, a
so it's kind of like a paintball on steroids.
Yeah, but when it hits an object, a solid object, including a body, it disperses an OC spray essentially.
It's because Hammer was talking earlier about somebody might not be fully comfortable with a firearm, although I don't know how well a Burn-A pistol is going to do against a AR.
Well, no, they have a limited range, and some people, whether because they're on drugs or whatever, can be resistant to OC spray. But they advocate these things, and they sell, I think, a few of them because they're not a firearm. You don't have to go through a background check and whatnot. They're not considered legally a firearm, so you can just buy one. And I've had a lot of people ask me about them. I haven't tested them. I mean, I've been shot in the face with OC spray, and I've gone through that. I know how that works.
How rough is that?
Oh, it's just me not being high on meth at the time and being generally sane.
At the time is the key phrase.
At the time, that's right. I was at that particular moment. I had resisted the meth habit, but it was rough. It was damn rough. I mean, you can't see, you can't breathe. Your eyes and your face just burn. Your skin burns. It feels like your throat closes up. I mean, it feels like you're going to drown in your own fluids that are emanating from your body. It's a rough experience.
So it's kind of like being around Whoopi Goldberg when she farts. That's what I've taken from that. Monday, Gun Day.
I did not have that on the bingo card for this segment.
Guy Relford, the gun guy, is here.
I thought the fourth floor bathroom was going to come into that discussion too at some point.
Before we hit a break here, what's the status report on this suppressors and short-barreled rifles thing that we've been talking about?
Yeah, well, the great big beautiful bill, which is now in the Senate, having passed the House in terms of at least one version of it, went over to the Senate, and the Senate's version, the Senate committee over their Finance Committee actually added into that both what we call the Short Act, which would take short-barreled rifles and short-barreled shotguns out of the National Firearms Act, meaning today you can't own a rifle with a barrel less than 16 inches without registering it as a short-barreled rifle under the NFA. You can't own a shotgun with a barrel less than 18 inches without registering it, paying a $200 tax for either one of those. And suppressors are also regulated by the NFA. That Hearing Protection Act, quote unquote, that language has been added back into the great big beautiful bill that would deregulate suppressors under the NFA, meaning you could just go into a gun store and buy one. And now, with, by the way, if this were to pass with your license to carry handgun, you could just show your license to carry, pay your money, and walk out. With a suppressor, where now it takes a $200 tax, a separate background check, government approval through the ATF.
Right.
It could be lengthy delay. Right now, those things are in the great big beautiful bill. We're hoping that that passes in that form.
Come back for one more segment?
You betcha.
Guy Relford with us. This is the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Masters Heating and Cooling is ready to make sure you are cool and comfortable all summer long. They took great care of my system, and they can help you make sure that everything is ready to go to ensure a nice, comfortable summer and then a very comfortable winter. I've worked with their general manager, David, numerous times, and it has always been a pleasure. And right now, you can get $500 off a new AC system. And if you've worked with Masters before and you've spent more than $500 on AC repairs in the last year, you can apply that amount as a credit towards a new system as well. Masters Heating and Cooling makes it easy. They've got flexible financing options and 24/7 service, so no matter what your issue, Masters Heating and Cooling is right there to take care of you and your family. Give Masters Heating and Cooling a call. 317-567-9505. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. 317-567-9505. Or request service online at mastersindy.com. mastersindy.com.
So if you spend a lot of time in your garage like I do, but your garage floor is just kind of gross and cracked and stained and old and unmaintained, you might want to think about a new coating. That's where Galaxy Concrete Coatings comes in. My Galaxy Concrete garage floor is out of this world. In fact, they did such a great job. I just had them back in not too long ago to put a coating in my utility room on the concrete floor in my basement. They do garages, basements, pool decks, any indoor or outdoor area concrete. Check out their website, get a quote, galaxyconcretecoatings.com, or give them a call, 751-9070.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. We are cleaning out inventory. Save up to 50% off Lazy Boys, Smith Brothers, and Flex Steel. And if it's in stock, save up to an extra 25% off. Save up to 20% off Berlin Gardens and Pollywood Outdoor Furniture. And save up to 50% off floor sample mattresses, including Tempur-Pedic. First come, first serve. Sale ends Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Trump country is booming. We're building, hiring, and winning in Indiana because energy tax credits put America first, bringing manufacturing jobs home and creating a stronger middle class.
Jobs and factories will come roaring back into our country. More production at home will mean stronger competition and lower prices for consumers.
And America's comeback depends on American energy. Senator Young, keep what works. Don't repeal energy tax credits. Paid for by Built for America.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
Trust employee owned. B Windows extending our employee discount to you. Up to 55% off, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust your home to B.
Only 2 months to go. Get ready for a day of golf, good times, and giving back at this year's golf outing powered by Franciscan Health, Thursday, August 7th at the Legends Golf Club in Franklin. Grab your spot now at 1075thefan.com.
All right, Matt Bear, what's going on, man?
And we're looking at eastbound 465 crash after Allisonville Road. 2 right lanes are closed and traffic is stopped to Westfield Boulevard. This is an awful delay. Anywhere from a half hour to an hour right now. Just stay out of it, please. Inbound 69, stop and go 106, 282nd. And on the west side, this just happened. Southbound 465 before West 10th. It is a vehicle fire on the exit ramp. The ramp is open for now. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Right now, B Window is extending their employee discount to you. Get 55% off all products and services plus 18 months, no interest or payments. Trust a local, trust employee owned. Trust your home to bwindow.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Heat advisory in effect. It's 94 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. It is Monday Gun Day with Guy Relford, the gun guy, here at 93 WIBC. And Guy, we have a story of a good guy with a gun taking out a bad guy with a gun. This happened at a church in Michigan near Detroit.
Yeah, exactly right. The Cross Point Church in Wayne, Michigan. A guy who, we don't know who this guy is. We don't know what his motivation was. He was driving erratically through the parking lot, pulled up, jumped out with 2 guns. Another worshiper there saw him who was in his vehicle and actually hit the guy with his truck. And that started the self-defense activities. But then 2 worshipers, and I think I just heard on the way here on WIBC that this was not a security guard, either one of them, but just 2 churchgoers were armed and took out the bad guy and ended the threat. And,
praise the Lord and pass the ammunition.
Well, exactly, which is a song, by the way, absolutely. But you know, this made me think about the fight we went through for years and years. We finally won this fight in 2019, which is in Indiana. There's never been a law that says you can't possess a firearm in a church, but there's been a law that says you can't possess a gun on church property, and on school property. And school property is defined as being the property where a school is located, and including anything on the same property or in the same building with a school. So how many churches have, and this includes a licensed daycare, how many churches have, how many Catholic churches have a parochial school on the same property?
Right.
All of them. You know, how many have a licensed daycare in the same building? A lot of them. So there were thousands and thousands of churches across Indiana where it was illegal to carry a gun. When you went to church, even though the school wasn't in session, there were no kids in the school, it was still school property, so it was a felony to carry there. 2019, we got that fixed. We passed what we call our church carry bill, and now if you're attending a worship service or a religious ceremony at a house of worship, even if it's located on school property, it's now legal for you to carry your gun. And a lot of people do. That always dictated for me and my wife, my family, where we went to church. Because I was not going to go to church, a place I couldn't legally carry a gun.
Soft target.
Soft target. And we know churches are targets. How many mass shootings have there been, or attempted mass shootings, have there been at churches? Not including the one we just had this weekend.
In addition to being soft targets, you've got the religious angle, too. There could be some, anti-Semitic attack. It could be somebody that doesn't like this group's religion. Like, there are so many different reasons, and I hate to say that, to attack a church.
You are completely right, and it's something I always talk about in my courses, which is there are people who hate you just because of where and who you worship, and they know where to find you on those days that you go to worship. And so I'll always be armed. In fact, I take an extra magazine when we go to church, and where I sit in the church is determined by where I know I can get my family out safely, where I have the best shooting angles, where I can see someone coming into that sanctuary with intent to do harm, where I have a clean and safe shot.
I hate that you have to think like that.
I was just thinking the same thing, man.
But that's just
it's the reality of the situation.
But you guys would be surprised. There are millions of people across this country who think that way every time they go in a restaurant, who think that way every time they go into a church.
I do it in a movie
every time
theater.
they go into a sports stadium.
Yeah.
And even just a minimum of where's the exits, where the threat's going to come from, how do I react to that? But since I'm carrying a gun, and since I would prefer to engage a threat to me and my family, rather than leave them to other people to take care of, I'm thinking about things like shooting angles and where I have a safe and appropriate shot, and that determines where we sit. And it's kind of funny that when we walk in, the ushers will kind of look at me like, "Oh, you want to sit over there, don't you? And I'm going, yeah, that's where I want to sit right there.
You're the Norm from Cheers in your church. Guy, we've got your seat right here. You got a good firing shot right here.
Yeah.
The door's right there.
Yeah, well, no, but that's the thought process. And and people think, oh, you're paranoid. That's not paranoia. That's just mindset. That's just situational awareness. It's the last thing I am is paranoid. I'm not looking around going, oh my God, somebody's going to hurt me at any given moment. I'm thinking, how can I best protect myself, my family, and my fellow worshipers, or my fellow citizens, wherever the circumstances may be. And it's a mindset. And you know what, guys? You guys talked about sleeper cells. Is that a real thing? We know it is, and we know they've been rolling into this country uninhibited for the last 4 years. But even separate from the official sleeper cells, we've also got fanatics who right now are going to get fired up to come do something crazy when they're not even part of an official sleeper cell. So anyway, I need to be quiet, but it's a lot to think about, and it means the armed citizen is going to play that much more of an important role.
Where can we find you, Guy?
Guy Relford on Twitter is the best place to contact me, at Guy Relford on Twitter.
He's an American treasure. He's a damn fine American. That's Guy Relford. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numbness, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Matt Schulke, chiropractic neurologist and board certified in neuropathy. What is neuropathy?
Neuropathy is nerve damage in the feet or hands.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
Absolutely, and we get amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, pain, or balance issues, call Dr. Schulke today for a free nerve damage screening. This screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for their specialized treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Simply call 463-400-3338. Act now. Call 463-400-3338 for your free nerve damage screening. 463-400-3338.
Real stories with Hellsberg.
After we met and we started dating, Nancy and I lived 150 miles apart, and I would drive my old jalopy car, and it was roughly a 3-hour distance. It took 3 years I drove across that state back and forth dating her every weekend.
Persistence.
And I would have never stopped. I had a lot of energy back then. 36 years ago.
At Hellsberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Hellsberg store or hellsberg.com.
Summertime's here, so get a hot summertime deal at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get Lincoln's employee pricing on most all new Lincolns. Get up to $20,000 off select 2024 Navigators. Up to $8,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Come and see why the Roush family has served the community for over 53 years at Tom Roush Lincoln.
Navigator MSRP $105,195. Nautilus MSRP $60,195. 2025 Navigators excluded from employee pricing. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
The Attorney General's Unclaimed Property Division has over $800 million just waiting to be claimed. Text Hammer and Nigel to 46220 or visit indianaunclaimed.gov to claim yours today.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Broadcasting from the Technology Recycler Studios, this is Indy's Mobile News. 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. The news starts now.
Iranian missiles target Americans in the Middle East. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. 6 ballistic missiles launched toward the U.S. Air Base in Qatar. Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon.
U.S. air defenses, in conjunction with the Qataris, intercepted all those Iranian missiles that were fired. We can report that there are no U.S. injuries, no U.S. deaths that were caused, not even any damage, really, to the base.
President Trump met with his national security team at the White House today, and a short time ago, posting on social media, Iran has officially responded to our obliteration of their nuclear facilities with a very, very weak response, adding perhaps Iran can now proceed to peace and harmony in the region. Israel wants to be sure the sites hit by the U.S. can't be fixed.
The Israelis wanted to ensure that Iran couldn't go and determine how much damage was caused or try to repair anything that was hit in the U.S. strikes over the weekend. And so earlier today, outside of the Fordo nuclear facility, this large fortified facility, the Israelis hit the access routes to Fordo so that the Iranians were not able to send teams in to assess how much damage had been done.
Fox's Trey Yingst reports from Tel Aviv. Israeli warplanes are over Iran now, striking scores of military targets. Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, posting on social media, "We didn't aggress anyone, and we will not accept any aggression from anyone under any circumstances." Iran's parliament is reportedly moving to suspend the country's cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency, the UN's nuclear watchdog. Medicare and Medicaid will drop prior approval for many procedures and prescriptions. Medicare Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz.
You won't get that treatment after all the paperwork clears. You'll just get it because there won't be paperwork. We'll be streamlining it. Patients should not be waiting because bureaucratic hurdles are blocking their critical treatment.
Private healthcare providers announcing similar changes. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The sweat of your brow. Now 94 in downtown Indianapolis with no rain showing up on radar and none likely this afternoon. I'm Chris Davis. Here's what's trending at 4:02.
The temperatures in the 90s each afternoon are going to continue.
Forecaster Cody Moore with the National Weather Service. An extreme heat warning in effect for the northern third of the state. A heat advisory in effect for the rest of Indiana with a high in the mid-90s and humidity to go along with that, making it dangerous to stay outside without good hydration and plenty of breaks. In Evansville, 30-year-old Lysandra Dennis charged with leaving her child outside in the heat all day Sunday with no water or shade and the temperature in the mid-90s.
As great a player as he is, it's always a team thing, and so
Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle after the game Sunday.
Our hearts go out to him.
If you've ever had a torn tendon of any type, then seeing Tyrese Haliburton face down, beating his fist into the floorboards is certainly understandable. But the injury of a torn right Achilles tendon, as reported today by ESPN, may bring more pain than the initial sting for the team, as it may mean Haliburton's return for next season is uncertain or at the least delayed significantly. Gunfire in downtown Indianapolis early Monday, and police now believe they know who was responsible. Ryan Hedrick reports.
A 16-year-old boy is facing weapons charges after the cops say he shot several people on Monument Circle just hours after the Pacers watch party ended.
It's unacceptable. This is not reflective of anything that we want to see. The Monument Circle is a gem of our city.
Indy Metro Police Officer Drew Brown.
Sacred place in our state. To see violence fall down here on its steps is unsettling.
And Brown says 2 men and 1 woman were shot. They are expected to survive. Brian Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You've got traffic and weather in 1 minute.
Hammer and Nigel here for Mark Dietl, the only real estate expert that we recommend here on the Hammer and Nigel show. And it's because Mark Dietl is helping Hoosiers every day, like Luke and Emma and Franklin. They found the perfect piece of land and began building the new dream home, but they needed to sell their old place at the right price to fund the dream. So they hired the Mark Dietl team. They got multiple offers in the first week. They closed in 25 days. Selling was stress-free and profitable with Mark Dietl. And that's what Mark Dietl does. And that's why Mark Dietl has the guarantee. This is what separates Mark Dietl from everyone else, the guarantee. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price or deadline, or he will buy it. No long-term contracts. You can cancel at any time. Contact Mark Dietl today, 755-4232, or go to markdietel.com. Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietel.com.
Traffic on 93 WIBC. How are the roads looking, Matt Bear?
Problems on the west side, Chris. It's southbound 465 to West 10th Street. That ramp is shut down because of a vehicle fire. This fire absolutely incinerated this car, and they had to shut down the ramp. So traffic is backed up to west of 38th Street for a delay time of 8 minutes. You can exit early at Crawfordsville Road or go past the fire and exit at Rockville Road. Northeast side, eastbound 465 crash between Allisonville Road and I-60. 2 right lanes are blocked, and we are stopped almost to Meridian Street. Delay time running about 45 minutes. I've been told people have been sitting there for an hour and a half. Just avoid if you would. Inbound 69, stop and go from 106th Street to 465. Traffic sponsored by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. They've teamed up with the Indiana Fever and Common Threads to provide local schools with information for nutritious meal preparation. Learn more at anthem.com/fever. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Anthem Insurance Companies Incorporated. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Now your forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
We're talking another warm, stuffy, and humid night coming up for us with lows in the mid-upper 70s. Tuesday is expected to be another hot and very, very muggy day with actual high temperatures getting into the low to mid-90s, but feels like temperatures will once again reach the triple digits with heat advisories continuing through Tuesday as well. Spotty scattered showers and storm potential will be in place Tuesday afternoon and night, and isolated stronger wind gusts is possible north of Indy, and then Wednesday we rinse and repeat with hot temperatures and scattered shower storm chances. I'm Wish TV Storm Track ABD meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Chris Davis, on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it! Last night, on President Trump's orders, U.S. Central Command conducted a precision strike in the middle of the night against 3 nuclear facilities in Iran, Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan, in order to destroy or severely degrade Iran's nuclear program. And as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs will demonstrate, it was an incredible and overwhelming success.
That was Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, friend of the show.
Yes.
The Hammer and Nigel show, discussing the Iranian strikes, United States hitting 3 nuke sites Saturday night. That was from the next morning. Pete Hegseth took questions, made a statement. I listened to that whole thing. It was pretty... I keep on saying the word badass, but it's like the attitude is we are not effing around here.
Right. This isn't the previous administration.
No.
We're not worried about pronouns. We're worried about bombs around here.
We're worried about nukes in the wrong hands.
So that 2-week window turned out to be about 24 hours, didn't it?
Well, I mean, it gave them a day, right?
They had 60 before that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Here's more from that Sunday morning press conference at the Pentagon. Again, Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, keeps saying that Donald Trump really tried to make this as peaceful as possible, but the Iranians did not want to accept the olive branch.
He was fully committed to the peace process, wanted a negotiated outcome, gave Iran every single opportunity, and unfortunately was met by stonewalling, which is why he gave them plenty of time to continue to come to the table and give up enrichment, give up the nuclear program. But there was I won't say the particular moment, there was certainly a moment in time where he realized that it had to be a certain action taken in order to minimize the threat to us and our troops.
So somebody said something, somebody did something where the old man was like, you know what, screw it, that's it.
Right. He pushed a button on some sort of intercom and said, all right, let's do it.
Right. Bring me a Diet Coke while you're at it.
Launch the strikes and I'll take a Diet Coke.
So everybody that is an anti-Trumper or a lefty on social media is convinced that it's World War III and that I thought this was the peace president. But don't get it twisted. Donald Trump has always said from the beginning, we're not interested in new wars, but we are going to have peace through strength. And this is something that has been going on for years in this country, president to president.
Regime change, Hammer.
Oh God.
Boy.
Here's Pete Hegseth talking about regime change.
This mission was not and has not been about regime change. The president authorized a precision operation to neutralize the threats to our national interests posed by the Iranian nuclear program and the collective self-defense of our troops and our ally Israel.
I saw a post on social media of some troll of ours with a picture of former President Obama. I miss having this man.
Oh, please. Obama was a bombing fool.
Right. Everything Donald Trump has said, Barack Obama has said. Go back and watch that debate with Mitt Romney. Barack Obama, we cannot allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. We will do anything we can to prevent a nuclear war, including action against Iran. Barack Obama has said the exact same thing.
And he has bombed several different countries during his 2 terms as president.
And deported a hell of a lot more people, too. But who am I?
Oh, don't want to bring that up.
Now, the Iranians have launched a, I'm using air quotes here, response to the United States.
Uh-oh.
They told the United States, we're going to send about 6 of our missiles to your, in essence, abandoned Air Force field in Qatar. We're going to do it at this time. Please do what you need to do, but we're going to tell state-run Iranian media that we're fighting back. But the real reality is we don't want you to bomb us anymore. So here's what we're doing.
Did the same thing when Trump incinerated Soleimani.
Correct.
Back in 2020, they gave the heads up there at the Iraq Air Force Base, and they're doing the same thing now. New York Times reports, quote, Iran coordinated the attacks on the American Air Base with Qatari officials and gave advance notice that attacks were coming to minimize casualties. I mean, the translation here is, please stop bombing us, but we've got to kind of make it look like we're doing something in retaliation.
Every missile was picked off.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It was full Anthony Richardson experience here. Everything that went in the air got picked off.
There were 6 of them, by the way. It was 6 missiles.
That's it. That's all they've got now.
Their stockpile is dwindling.
Their numbers are getting pretty low. And we're going to talk to one of the best coming up here in just a little bit, Francis Martell of Breitbart. She's going to break this stuff down. And again, this is how much people hate Donald Trump. They're ripping him now, Nige, for misspelling his name on a message thanking the B-2 pilots for their service. Did you see this?
The pilots that flew 36 hours.
Correct.
from Missouri to
Iran and back.
He typed his own name wrong in the message.
Donakd J. Trump. So instead of an L, he put a K.
Donald Trump.
But boy, you do something like that, the grammar Nazis are going to come out, man.
Happens to us all the time. I could care less. Although I will say Trump has a history of typo-ridden social media posts, including the infamous Confefe message.
That's right.
I'm going to tell you something. If I ever get the chance to talk to Donald Trump or interview that guy, the first question I'm asking him is, what was up with that Confefe Twitter post?
Yeah. What was Confefe?
Hey, what was that? What were you doing?
Did you drop your phone in your pocket?
Were you on Ambien? What did that mean, Confefe? I'm still perplexed by that to this day.
Critics are calling out Donald Trump's typo. They're bringing attention to detail that maybe his readiness for decision-making is compromised because he typed a K instead of an L. It's not like he's falling down all the time or crapping his pants or speaking gibberish all the time. Listen, everybody misspeaks once in a while. We misspeak once in a while. Everybody falls maybe once in a while. We've fallen once in a while. But the previous dude, you were surprised when he didn't.
Wow, I'm shocked President Biden made it up those stairs.
Very few presidents get a standing ovation for walking up the stairs to Air Force One and making it, but Biden did. Now, before we hit a break here, we have to also address the name of this operation, Operation Midnight Hammer.
Yeah.
Once we found out that was the name of this operation, do you know how many crude text messages I got from people like you, people like Rob Kendall?
The official mailman of the show, Justin, sent you a crude text message, Hammer, something involving your wife. Yeah.
Correct. So I thought, you know what? Why fight it? I have worked with Hammer and Nigel Fragrances to put out a new cologne named after this amazing, successful military strike.
New from Hammer and Nigel Fragrances, a cologne for lower-class men who like lower-class women.
Excuse me? What the hell?
Its distinctive smell is a mix of Beech Grove Walmart shopper and a Waffle House fart. It's a little Mountain Dew and a whole lot of bourbon. It's Midnight Hammer. Just 2 squirts and you'll smell just like Jason Hammer at 12 a.m., right before he disappoints the coupon lady in bed.
Wait, you're done? That's it?
Taco Bell, beer, donuts, sweat. It's all here. Perfect for any man who's been disappointing women sexually since 1995.
Jason Hammer here. I'm ready for love, even though I was just on the toilet 5 minutes ago.
Midnight Hammer, exclusively from Hammer and Nigel Fragrances.
I hate you so much, you fat ass.
There it is. New from Hammer and Nigel Fragrances.
Bravo.
Operation Midnight
Flying off the shelves.
Hammer. Matt Bear, you're going to be picking up a bottle of that, right?
I am now. Looking at the northeast side, eastbound 465 after Allisonville Road. Crash blocking the right lane, stopping us back to Westfield Boulevard and a little bit beyond. Delays running about 45 minutes right now. On the west side, southbound 465, ramp closed to West 10th Street because of a vehicle fire. This car was completely incinerated. Traffic stop back to 74 and delay continues back to West 46th Street. Crash on the east side, 42nd at Mid-Homford Road. Inbound 65, stop and go 29th at 2 Meridian Penn. Construction delay southbound 65, 70 from the north split down to the south split. It's mainly just stop and go traffic. Shouldn't take you too long. Traffic sponsored by the International Hot Rod Association. Nitro's back. The IHRA Outlaw Nitro Series is lighting up the track. Grab your tickets for Columbus, July 9th through the 12th. Now at IHRA.com. That's IHRA.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Heat advisory in effect. It's 94 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Real quick, a 3-day sale on the Hammer and Nigel Show merchandise store. 3-day sale, all of the patriotic stuff. We've got new patriotic shirts, different designs, a few different colors. So go to store.hammerandnigel.com. And if you order anytime between now and Wednesday, you're guaranteed to get that bad boy by the 4th of July. We got a new printer somewhere close to Indy, so the shipping does not take as long. And we're kicking it off with a 3-day patriotic sale. Hammer and Nigel shirts, patriotic themed. I've got it pinned on our Facebook and Twitter right now. Just find Hammer and Nigel. Make your order today. Is This Anything? Next.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon, you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
You'll be one smart cookie when you try Bluebell Cookie Cake Ice Cream. A sweet cream ice cream loaded with chocolate chip cookie cake pieces and swirls of chocolate and vanilla icing. This cookie cake ice cream really takes the cake.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at all Kroger and Payless supermarkets.
The deals at Andy Moore Ford continue. We're talking about that employee pricing. Employee pricing at Andy Moore Ford across a full lineup of your favorite trucks and SUVs. That's right. You pay what they pay at Andy Moore Ford. Get $17,000 off MSRP on new 2024 F-150s or buy a new Ford Super Duty truck for under $40,000. 175 different trucks to choose from. And if you're looking to sell or trade your current vehicle, the time has never been better. Every vehicle comes with $500 in Andy Moore cash and $2,500 more for your trade. Plus, drive with no payments all summer long. Talk to Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield. Find out how easy it is to get your new car, truck, SUV, or fleet vehicle at Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield. 2713 East Main Street in Plainfield or online at Andy Moore Ford. That's M-O-H-R.
I love Andy.
AndyMooreFord.com.
Pat Sullivan here with exciting news from my friends at Hope Plumbing, now known as Hope Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Hope now offers plumbing, heating, and air conditioning services, bringing total comfort to your home. No more dealing with multiple home service memberships. For only $8 a month, Hope is now your one-stop for safety and maintenance inspections and so much more. Make sure you're prepared for those Indiana summer heat waves with an AC tune-up by calling Hope Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today at 641-HOPE.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
All right, let's rock and roll.
Brought to you by Indiana Unclaimed, presented by the Attorney General's office here in Indiana. Reuniting Hoosiers with over $1 million in unclaimed property every single week.
Every damn week.
Fast, easy, and free to search at indianaunclaimed.gov.
On the telephone? All right. Is this anything? A lawyer in Colorado accidentally called a female judge honey instead of your honor. He and she had a hard time getting over that mistake.
This could have been 3 separate...
Okay, but it wasn't 3 separate. Let's go
but,
with what happened in the case.
But, honey, or... Oh, my God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I don't know what to say to that. I apologize.
Go ahead.
The question here... I'm sorry, I've just been totally thrown by
I can
mistake.
imagine. I'm a little thrown by that also, if I'm being honest.
Your Honor, I don't know what to say.
Well, go ahead. You've only got 1 minute and 7 seconds left.
That anything?
That's something. Play the beginning, Nathaniel, just one more time. Just the beginning where he calls her honey. Can you get it back, or did you delete it? It's no big deal.
This could have been 3 separate...
Okay, but it wasn't 3 separate. Let's go with what happened in the case.
But honey, or... Oh, my God.
Oh, I mean, in his core, that's who he is. Hey, honey, listen. I'm right, you're wrong. But then he realized...
Honey, please.
Honey. I mean, it could have been any number, a cupcake. Come on, let's go. Let's be serious here.
Hey, sweet thing.
Hey, sweet cheeks, listen to me. You're not making any sense.
God.
Kitten, listen. Come on. What are you talking about?
You might as well be Clubber Lang. Hey, woman. Hey, woman.
That's what it is right there.
I bet you stay up late thinking about how you wish you had a real man. Go full Clubber Lang on her.
Oh, wow. But that guy, I mean, let's be honest, is that who he is? I mean, is that the kind of? That was in his lexicon of how he talks to people, isn't it?
On the YouTube chat, Libertarian Dragon, look, toots. Fantastic.
Okay. All right. At least he realized his mistake and apologized and moved on.
Is this anything? Dolly Parton has teamed up with Motley Crue to re-record Home Sweet Home.
No.
To raise money for Covenant House,
Oh,
which
that's good.
is a charity that helps with youth homelessness.
Yes.
Here's a little clip of the recording.
First of all, it should be noted that Dolly's vocal was added to the original track that was recorded 40 years ago in 1985. I don't think Motley Crue could sound that good right now.
No.
But her voice is killer still. And what is she, 80? She's got to be in her 80s, right?
She's up there, yeah.
And but I don't think, so they've got a new album coming up. Motley Crue has a new album in September. And so that'll be at the end of it. But if they're raising money for charity, yes, this is something that's fine. I don't think I'm going out and rushing to hear Home Sweet Home featuring Dolly Parton.
Serious question, okay? Serious question for you.
I'm not.
Right now, who has larger breasts, Vince Neil or Dolly? On June 23rd, 2025, which one right now has a larger chest? Vince Neil or Dolly Parton?
They are neck and neck. From the pictures I've seen of Vince Neil, for sure.
Is this anything? Cops in Oregon are searching for a 42-year-old guy who led officers on a high-speed chase and then abandoned his SUV and fled on foot. And it's making national headlines because of the guy's name. Okay. Listen to the coverage here from KATU ABC in Oregon.
Okay.
And listen closely for the suspect's name.
Police still searching for the driver accused of firing shots at officers during a pursuit this morning. The man's name is Looney Tune. Police consider him armed and dangerous.
K2 Shelby Slaughter joins us live in the Eastmoreland neighborhood where this happened. And Shelby, first question, and it's on everybody's mind right now, is that actually the suspect's name?
So his full name is Looney John Franklin Tune.
Looney John Franklin Tune, Nige.
Police are in pursuit of a Mr. Bunny, a Mr. Bugs Bunny. They are in heated pursuit of Pepe the Pew. Yeah, that's something. That's genius. That's fantastic. Looney Tune.
Now, Nathaniel, I want you to have that standing by one more time, because one of my favorite things is when really straight-laced news anchors have to read ridiculous things.
And I kind of heard like a crack in his voice almost. Like, did you hear a little bit of a laughter?
Let's listen.
Police still searching for the driver accused of firing shots at officers during a pursuit this morning. The man's name is Looney Tune. Police consider him armed and dangerous.
K2 Shelby Slaughter joins us live in the Eastmoreland neighborhood where this happened. And Shelby, first question, and it's on everybody's mind right now.
You can turn it off. I heard a little crack in his voice there.
Looney Tune. It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
There's something timeless about radio. It's where stories are told, ideas are shared, and communities stay connected. Our generation grew up with it, and we still believe in the power of tuning in. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe planning for retirement should feel just as familiar and trusted. That's why we're bringing real conversations and practical advice to the airwaves. Join us every Sunday at 9 p.m. for our Retire with Purpose Radio Hour, right here on 93.1 WIBC. We'll talk about what really matters in retirement, income you can count on, choices you can feel good about, and a future that reflects your values. Because some things, like good planning and good radio, never go out of style. Howard Bailey Financial, retirement planning that speaks your language. Howard Bailey Securities LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com. The Retire with Purpose radio hour is a paid placement on each airing station.
Wind and hail can cause serious damage to your property, but not every storm leaves the same mark. At Michaelis Corporation, they offer a free thorough inspection of your entire property, not just your roof. With over 35 years disaster restoration, they check everything from shingles to siding, gutters, windows, and even your interior. Call Michaelis today for your free comprehensive inspection. Don't forget to ask about our impact-resistant shingles for your roof. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. 844-FIX-INDY.
Trump country is booming. We're building, hiring, and winning in Indiana because energy tax credits put America first, bringing manufacturing jobs home and creating a stronger middle class.
Jobs and factories will come roaring back into our country. More production at home will mean stronger competition and lower prices for consumers.
And America's comeback depends on American energy. Senator Young, keep what works. Don't repeal energy tax credits. Paid for by Built for America.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Attack, then counterattack. Heat advisory in effect for this afternoon, and that extends all the way through most of the rest of the week. 95 on Monument Circle right now. In northern Indiana, you've got a heat warning in effect. I'm Chris Davis. Here's what's trending. Iran sent rockets over Qatar towards U.S. military bases in response to Saturday night's American strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. Israel continues to strike Iranian targets. Fox's Jillian Turner has some insight about why the Trump administration thought this was the right time.
We have learned from sources inside the administration they did not want to have to go down this route. The national economy in Iran is the weakest it has probably ever been. That goes hand in hand with the assessment that our military officials have made here in recent days that the regime is the weakest it has ever been in history. I was talking to one national security source who explained to me that part of the reason the administration decided to strike now was because militarily there was a unique opening that had not really existed before this weekend, where the regime was completely backed into a corner, yet also ramping up their nuclear weapons programs.
Tyrese Haliburton's Sunday night injury now confirmed by ESPN as a torn right Achilles tendon. The Pacers have not yet made any comment on treatment or recovery or when he may be back, although that one requires some serious downtime. A 13-year-old girl dead in a wreck in rural St. Joseph County, Ottawa Township, happened Sunday night about 9:30 when the Dodge Charger she was in, driven by a 19-year-old woman from Three Rivers, went airborne and flipped, throwing the girl out. She has not been publicly identified. You may have never considered this. Will the heat affect your Amazon deliveries? Amazon's chief meteorologist, Josh Kasteman, talked to Fox Weather, saying the company started their heat preparations last Thursday.
When you see a big heat dome like this or a heat wave, we start those proactive comms as fast as we can so that if our site leaders and business leaders need to make some adjustments for safety, that they can. They have time to do that.
If you didn't know the company had a chief meteorologist or a meteorologist at all, you're likely in mass company. You've got traffic and weather in 1 minute.
Watching your parents get older is something you never get used to. You know it's going to happen, but it still doesn't seem right, especially when the time comes to consider moving a parent into a nursing home. It's a hard decision for you and them, and when that's the right choice, there's the added stress of what to do with the house. Simple Quarters understands and can help relieve some of that stress. They're a Christian company who is compassionate about what you and your parent are going through. They can help with the logistics of selling the home. They'll buy it as is, no need for repairs, cleaning, staging, or showings. No catch. It's one less thing for you to worry about. Simple Quarters, a Christian company dedicated to helping families through life's transitions. If you're facing the challenge of selling a home due to a loved one moving into an assisted living or nursing home, call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME. Or go to simplequarters.com.
Afternoon traffic on 93 WIBC with Matt Bear.
All right, Chris, looking at the west side of southbound 465, exiting to West 10th, that ramp is closed because of a vehicle fire. Car completely incinerated. Traffic is awful going southbound right now, backed up past Crawfordsville Road all the way to the I-65 ramps. Some spots were stopped, some spots were moving barely, and you will have a delay here. North side crash clear, eastbound 465 after Allisonville Road, still jammed before Westfield Boulevard over to Allisonville Road. Inbound 69 stop and go, 106th Street, 282nd. Inbound 65 slow from 29 to Meridian Penn, delayed 5 minutes. Eastbound 70 delayed 5 minutes. Belmont into the south split, and the southbound 65-70 construction delay from the north split to the south split. That is 4 additional minutes there. Traffic sponsored by B-Window. Right now, B-Window is extending their employee discount to you. Get 55% off all products and services, plus 18 months, no interest or payments. Trust a local, trust employee owned. Trust your home to bwindow.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Now your forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather
Warm and
Center.
muggy tonight with lows in the mid-upper 70s. Tuesday, another hot and humid day coming up with highs in the low to mid-90s with triple-digit heat indices. Spotty scattered showers and storms are possible Tuesday afternoon and night as well. I'm Wish TV Storm Track APD Urologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Chris Davis, on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
The Hammer and Nigel Show.
The Hammer and Nigel Show. My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there. It seems like only a couple of weeks ago you and I were on the phone with our next guest, Breitbart International Editor Francis Martell, talking about how Israel went into Iran, killed a bunch of military leaders, did a bunch of damage, and then we were speculating on if the United States was going to get involved. Well, that question was answered over the weekend with Operation Hammer Time. Wait a minute.
Midnight Hammer.
Oh, yeah, Operation Midnight Hammer. I'm sorry.
Which is something my wife usually frowns upon.
Welcome back to the show. Francis Martell from Breitbart News. Francis, just big picture here. What did the Americans accomplish exactly? And give us kind of the size and the scope of the damage that the United States did.
Absolutely. So, first of all, thank you for having me back, and apologies in advance because the answers are not totally clear yet.
Yep.
We know what President Trump said, which is that we have completely and totally obliterated 3 nuclear facilities: the Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. And we have some satellite photos that don't really seem to show anything, but they wouldn't show anything because these are facilities that are underground, right? So. We don't have, Iran hasn't admitted to any nuclear scientists killed or losing anybody. They have, they've admitted to the strikes, which did target their uranium enrichment facilities. But at this point, it is not totally clear exactly how much damage there is. It does look like substantial damage. Even the Iranians admit that it is significant damage. But what Iran is saying is that they're ready and willing to rebuild. No one is going to stop their enrichment. They're doubling down. So that's kind of the status of where we are right now.
Are they, when I say they, the United States, Donald Trump, are they talking regime change here at all? Are we hearing that statement?
They're explicitly rejecting it.
Okay.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth came out and said this is not about regime change. This is very simply about this unhinged regime not being allowed to have nuclear weapons. That is it. And that is what the point of the initial talks were. We had 5 rounds of talks with Iran starting in April, and they went nowhere because Iran said the point of the talks was to convince America to drop sanctions, and we said that the point of the talks was to convince them to stop enriching uranium. And every time the uranium issue would come up, they'd say, absolutely not, under no circumstances are we going to even curtail a little bit our uranium enrichment. And there's no scientific reason that Iran can come up with for enriching this much uranium. The only thing you would do with it is build a bomb. So that's where the impasse is, and our government is saying, yeah, no regime change. We're just worried about the nukes.
Francis, how much more can the Iranians be involved in this? We're hearing different reports that their stockpile of missiles may be getting smaller. The amount of missiles they're firing off now, less than what it was before. Can they keep this up, or are they going to have to come to the table eventually?
I think they, they are right now in a kind of limited situation because not even just because of their own military and their own missile arsenal, which is dwindling, but because they typically rely on this network of terrorist organizations in the region to protect them. Their military usually doesn't even do the dirty work. They have Hamas, they have Hezbollah, they have the Houthis, they have the Islamic resistance in Iraq, and all of those terror groups have been deteriorated significantly since October 7th. So that ring of protection is mostly gone. Hezbollah came out and basically said, sorry, nothing we can do about it here when Israel started bombing. So they're very much diminished, and I think they're seeing this as an existential threat to that regime. And so far, no signs of surrender or coming to the table for even peace negotiations.
Okay, so you bring up these terror organizations, and that's kind of been part of Iran's playbook for a while. Proxy groups, other terror organizations. What should the United States be most concerned about? Is it sleeper cells maybe here in this country? Is it proxy groups overseas? What should be the biggest threat, the biggest concern?
I think sleeper cells are a huge problem, a huge threat, because we had these 4 years of basically unrestricted migration under President Biden. And so we have a bunch of people in our country that we don't know who they are. And that's, to be clear, I don't want to conflate random people that we don't know because the Biden administration just let them in with bona fide Iranian refugees in the United States. Iranian Americans are the top of the list of the people who want the regime gone. Yeah. That's not who I'm worried about. I'm worried about people who aren't even Iranian who probably got through the southern border. And one thing that worries me a lot is that 10 years ago, this is a very old story, but it's relevant, there was an official at a Venezuelan embassy that defected, and he said that his embassy is heavy-handed. It's over the gates of Evin prison. Evin is the most notorious political prison in Iran. It's where the people that the regime considers most dangerous to the regime, the political prisoners, are stuck. And it's a torture chamber. It's a horrible place. And the only reason that you would bomb the opening gates would be to weaken the security around a place like that, and maybe some dissidents could get out. I think that's part of the thinking there, but they're also targeting, strategic areas. They're trying to make sure that Iran doesn't have missile launchers. So, never mind running out of missiles. If you don't have a launcher, there's no use for the missile. And they're trying to target the highest-ranking military leaders so that there are no brains in the operation. And so far, they've been pretty successful at that.
I've been paying attention to your work on Breitbart.com over the weekend. One of the, I don't know, headline just struck me as kind of funny, but ironic. Hamas condemns Trump's Iran strikes, calling it brutal aggression.
It's too strong for Hamas.
What are other major powers saying right now? China, Russia, other countries in the region?
Well, this is the most fascinating part to me. I mean, obviously, Hamas is going to defend the people that give them $100 million a year, which is what's happening in that statement. But Iran has a network of diplomatic allies, which is the BRICS coalition, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Russia and China are currently trying to pass a resolution at the UN Security Council. South Africa is not useful in this situation, and Brazil South Africa is not.
But on the other hand, they like money, and maybe Vladimir Putin and the gang feels like they could be the gas provider if something happens to Iran. Does that make sense?
That's definitely part of it. And something else that Putin himself said that I thought was very interesting is Russia and Israel have very good relations. They asked him, are you going to intervene to defend Iran? And he said, well, Israel's practically a Russian-speaking country. We have millions of Russian speakers there. We're not eager to have a conflict with another Russian country. So I thought that was really interesting, too. But, yes, there's clearly a vested financial interest in, if you knock out one of the world's biggest fossil fuel producers, everybody else, there's a bigger slice of pie for everybody else. And I think Russia is aware that is a possibility.
Find her work, Breitbart.com. She is the international editor for Breitbart. Francis Martell, you are the best at what you do. Thank you for the interview at such short notice. Keep us updated and have a great week.
Hey, back at you. Thank you so much for having me back.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Run!
road trip. This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio.
Right now, save up to $434 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Indiana Foundation Service comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at indianafoundation.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for detail.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
Macy's lowest prices of the summer on furniture and mattresses are here, which means you'll find great July 4th deals now on beautiful home updates, like the 7-piece Whitburn outdoor dining set, $19.99. Customer favorites like the Radley sectional, now $21.79, and 20 to 65% off top mattress brands like Sealy. And with Macy's white glove delivery, we'll set it all up and whisk away all that packaging too. But hurry in, these summer deals are going on now at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
America respects our first responders and veterans, the brave whose business is taking action when calamity strikes. It's dangerous work, often surrounded by sirens, shouting, even gunfire, so hearing loss is probable. First responders can turn to Relay Indiana. If you have trouble hearing on the telephone, visit RelayIndiana.com for voice recognition technology phones that allow the hearing impaired to have normal phone conversations. And there's loaned equipment for those who qualify. Get clarity back on the phone. Visit RelayIndiana.com.
Retirement planning can be confusing. That's why Expedition Retirement now has a new name. Join us for Fire Your Financial Advisor, Sunday mornings at 7 on WIBC.
Trust employee owned. B Windows extending our employee discount to you. Up to 55% off, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust your home to B.
Busy day? No problem. The WIBC Mashup podcast catches you up with standout moments from your favorite shows. Fresh episodes every weekday. One click, all the good stuff. Get your daily fix. Search WIBC Mashup wherever you get your podcasts.
Matt Baer, you talk now.
All right, Hammer, looking at the west side ramp closed, southbound 465 to West 10th Street. That ramp is shut down because of a vehicle fire. Traffic is stopped past the I-65 ramps almost to West 71st Street. Delay time at 32 minutes. Inbound 65 stop and go MLK 221st Street at a stall in the north split on southbound 6570. After that, we have the construction delay running from the north split to the south split for 9 minutes. Eastbound 70 crash at Harding Street blocking the left lane. After that, slow into the south split. At the south side, eastbound 465 slows at 31 to Emerson Avenue. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Right now, B Window is extending their employee discount to you. Get 55% off all products and services, plus 18 months, no interest or payments. Trust a local, trust employee owned. Trust your home to bwindow.com. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
There's a heat advisory in effect until Friday. Right now, the regular temperature is 94, but it feels like it's like 100 degrees outside at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
I thought you were going to break out into, right now, the heat is on.
Oh, Glenn Fry.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were going to do, but I was very disappointed.
Well, whenever we have contest tickets to give away, concert tickets, we'll do a little sing-along with me, and we'll make it an all-hot edition.
Boy. Okay.
Do us a favor, jump to that WIBC YouTube page. We need 35 brave, badass, patriotic Americans, people that look good naked, all to give us a like, to give us a thumbs up. That gets us to 100. Now, that 100 is a key number for us because once you get to be dudes our age, your main motivation is to be left alone. This keeps the digital department, a group of younger 20-somethings, off of our ass. So they want us to have 100 likes on the YouTube page. If you hate young people, and if you want to be left alone, and if you look good naked, give us a like on the WIBC YouTube page.
Remember the kid that used to work here? He doesn't work here anymore. It's been years, but he asked us not to use all caps in the subject heading of our emails because it triggered him in some way.
He gave Brian Baker a lecture back when Baker worked here.
That's it. Yeah.
There was a bounce back email. Excuse me, Brian, but you using all caps is really hurtful. And
it stresses me out.
It stresses me out, yes. Reading stresses me out.
Those kinds of things are real, all right? It's not like we talk about, we bloviate on this radio station about some of this stuff that we see in the news. It's real because we experience it firsthand.
Right. And if you know Brian Baker, who used to work here in any way, his response to that, like, he was flipping out. His voice was getting high-pitched. He was melting down. It was so good. So good. Again, heat advisory in effect this weekend, which means all those little fat kids in Plainfield, make sure you're hydrating. Based off my career as a travel baseball coach and a guy that's been all over the state DJing weddings, doing events, unofficially, Plainfield is the fat kid capital of America.
Is that right?
A lot of fat kids in Plainfield. Make sure those little porkers are drinking because it's going to feel like 100 damn degrees between now and Friday. There are a lot of different places, a lot of different areas that have different things, quirky things. But for whatever reason, they feed their kids well in Plainfield.
Well, it's an upper class community there in Plainfield. They eat well. Lots of restaurants.
Correct.
Lots of sporting.
They're great in football.
Yeah.
They're good in football. They're, a pretty good athletic school, and it's because they got so many fat kids. That's why. Like, come wintertime, I fully expect, like, Marcus Bailey and, the folks at Wish TV that do the weather start using units of measurement like snowflakes the size of fat Plainfield kids are falling out of the sky.
Yeah, and come about 6:30, I expect the first complaint emails coming into our boss's inbox.
Oh, 6:30? I got 4:55. 4:55. Well, you grew up in Beech Grove, you hillbilly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm going to get,
I was going to mention that.
But listen, it's hotter than blue hell outside. It's the summer. It's supposed to be that way.
I like it.
But we want you to be safe as well, which is why we've reached out to the First Lady of WIBC, the lovely Terry Stacy, for a summer safety tip.
And now, Hammer and Nigel present Summer Safety with Terry Stacy.
The very best way to beat the heat on a hot summer day is by pouring 40 ounces of Old Milwaukee right down the front of your underpants.
Summer Safety with Terry Stacy.
Can't argue with that. Can't argue with that at all.
They used to have, I think it was Old Milwaukee, they used to have these, they called them crushers, which were essentially 40-ounce cans, not bottles, but I would crush those at the pool, and that's why they called them crushers. I think it was Old Milwaukee. Old Milwaukee.
Famous for those great commercials. It doesn't get any better than this. Bunch of drunk dudes around a fire.
Dennis Miller does a great bit about that. If it doesn't get any better than this, a bunch of dudes drinking awful beer around a fire, then just put a gun to my head right now.
Not a chick to be found anywhere. Not a single woman to be found anywhere.
I do remember those ads. But if it doesn't get any better than that, then put me out of my misery right now.
Coming up next, oh man, that Pacer game last night.
No.
Listen, I'm incredibly proud of this team. I am. The memories that they've given me during this run, the celebrations I've had with my family, watching the games,
me too.
Seeing the city come together, Republicans, Democrats, all high-fiving for the fact that we hate the Knicks together. All of that was awesome. It just wasn't supposed to end like that. I don't mind getting beat, but like that bothers me, man.
Brutal.
That's brutal. So we'll talk about that. How social media is a cesspool right now.
You're kidding. We're just now discovering that.
All of the folks that have had the pride flags as their logo are now searching to try to find the Iranian flag to put it up as their profile picture. We've got that and a lot more coming up. Don't go anywhere. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
Summertime's here, so get a hot summertime deal at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get Lincoln's employee pricing on most all new Lincolns. Get up to $20,000 off select 2024 Navigators. Up to $8,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Come and see why the Roush family has served the community for over 53 years at Tom Roush Lincoln.
Navigator MSRP $105,195. Nautilus MSRP $60,195. 2025 Navigators excluded from employee pricing. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
Real stories with Haliburton.
After we met and we started dating, Nancy and I lived 150 miles apart, and I would drive my old jalopy car, and it was roughly a 3-hour distance. It took 3 years I drove across that state back and forth dating her every weekend.
Persistence.
And I would have never stopped. I had a lot of energy back then, 36 years ago.
At Haliburton, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Hellsberg store or hellsberg.com.
Weekday mornings at 7:15, the Tony Katz Popcorn Moment. Brought to you by Boer Remodeling. Don't wait any longer for the kitchen you've been dreaming of. Request a consultation at boerremodeling.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Right now, get 50% off your windows. That's half off, plus no interest and no payments for 12 months and a free entry door with your window purchase. Restrictions apply. Call 317-659-7574. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Broadcasting from the Technology Recycler Studios, this is Indy's Mobile News, 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. The news starts now.
The president thanks Iran. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News, posting on social media this afternoon that Iran telegraphed its retaliatory strike today aimed at a U.S. airbase in Qatar.
He says the Iranians, have gotten it all out of their system, and there will hopefully be no further hate. I want to thank Iran for giving us early notice, which made it possible for no lives to be lost and nobody to be injured. Obviously, missile strikes in any direction send a big public message, but we have learned that there are also private back-channel communications between the two countries.
Fox's Peter Doocy in The Hague, where the president will travel tomorrow for a NATO summit meeting where he will tell NATO allies they need to increase their NATO defense spending.
The president has been adamant, and our NATO allies, to their credit, heeded the president's strong call in his first term, and we expect them to do it this time around as well.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Israel keeping up the pressure on Iran with scores of airstrikes today.
They're sending messages to people on the ground there to stay away from military infrastructure and military bases, as the Israeli warplanes unloaded at least 100 missile striking targets on the ground in Iran. Among the targets they hit, the Fordo nuclear facility. They hit the access roads leading up to that facility. They hit the Evin prison, notorious because that's where political prisoners had been held. They hit command centers for the Revolutionary Guard and the forces that put down uprisings. They also hit Iran's very old fleet of aircraft. It's unclear if any of those aircraft ever got off the ground during this round of conflict.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv. The Israeli president telling Fox News today they have no choice but to continue the attacks. Wall Street today, the Dow shaking off concerns about the strikes on Iran. The Dow closing 375 points higher. Nasdaq gained 184 points. The S&P 500 up 58. Despite worries that Iran could impede oil shipments in the Persian Gulf, crude oil prices now down about 9%. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The heat is in overdrive. It's 93 on Monument Circle with nothing on radar. Partly cloudy. I'm Chris Davis. Here's what's trending at 5:02. Indiana is having a heat wave with several days of high temperatures in the mid-90s, and the National Weather Service saying some rain could be on the way.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend. However, confidence is a little low on coverage, so don't expect too much relief, because if you do get a thunderstorm, it's going to wet the ground more, and it's going to make the humidity even worse.
Forecaster Cody Moore says the storms won't bring much relief and aren't expected to be severe. The heat advisory is in effect all week.
As the hot temperatures hit central Indiana, heat illness can be sudden. Individuals with compromised immune systems are more at risk.
Chronic medical conditions such as lung diseases, asthma, COPD, or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, heart disease, and as well as medications that we prescribe to treat some of these chronic conditions.
Wish TV's medical expert Dr. Janelle Gordon warns that children, especially infants, along with seniors, outdoor workers, and athletes, are at an increased risk of developing a sickness caused by the heat. Johnette Cruz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
3 adults shot in downtown Indianapolis early this morning, and police say a teenager is now under arrest for pulling the trigger. Ryan Hedrick reports.
Just before 2 a.m., officers working near Gamebridge Fieldhouse heard gunshots and rushed to the scene, says IMPD officer Drew Brown.
Numerous persons have been detained. Their involvement is unclear at this time. It'll be determined as the investigation progresses.
And as the investigation went on, Brown said they gathered evidence that led them to a 16-year-old boy.
And we're still in the early phases of this investigation, and we have a very large scene as well.
Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Schools across the state, both public and private, making tough financial decisions.
Ivy Tech mentioned the need or the intent to cut about 200 positions statewide.
Gary Dick with Inside Indiana Business telling WIBC's Tony Katz that this goes back to the state budget, calling for funding to be cut at several colleges and universities. You've got traffic and weather in 1 minute.
Pat Sullivan here. Have you heard about impact-resistant shingles? They're the smart choice for protecting your home from harsh weather. And here's something you may not know. Most insurance companies offer discounts on your premiums if you install them. At the Michaelis Corporation, we offer top-tier Category 3 and Category 4 impact-resistant shingles that stand up to the toughest storms. From hail to high winds, these shingles offer a 30-year warranty that stands by their durability. And when a weather event hits, don't worry. Let Michaelis perform a free inspection of your property to ensure everything is in top condition. We don't inspect the roof and when a weather event hits, don't worry. Let Michaelis perform a free inspection of your property to ensure
the ramp is open. We're slow national LTE coverage. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping and code radio. Get an extra 5% off and free UPS shipping and code radio. Get an extra 5% off. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Now your forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
We're talking another warm, stuffy, and humid night coming up for us with lows in the mid-upper 70s. Tuesday's expected to be another hot and very, very muggy day with actual high temperatures getting into the low to mid-90s, but feels like temperatures will once again reach the triple digits with heat advisories continuing through Tuesday as well. Spotty scattered showers and storm potential will be in place Tuesday afternoon and night, and isolated stronger wind gusts is possible north of Indy. And then Wednesday we rinse and repeat with hot temperatures and scattered shower storm chances. I'm Wish TV Storm Track ABD Meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Chris Davis, on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it.
Do we have to talk about it?
It's therapy for me at this point, Nigel. It's therapy.
Pacers lose Game 7 of the NBA Finals, 103-91 in OKC.
And again, I don't mind losing if the better team wins.
Pacers knew as soon as Haliburton knew as soon as he hit the ground. Game 7 of the NBA championship of the lows. Whether you're Haliburton or a Pacer fan.
Right. Like, again, this team, and I don't know what the Pacers have done to tick off the basketball gods, but anytime they're contenders, something happens. There's the brawl. There's the Paul George injury. There's the Victor Oladipo injury.
Yeah, wow.
And now the Tyrese Haliburton injury. And we're going to talk to Kevin Bowen from our sister sports station coming up at 5:33. Is this loss last night the most soul-crushing loss for a sports fan in Indy? Is this worse than losing to the Saints in that Super Bowl? Is this worse than that Steelers playoff game where Nick Harper, who was fresh off a stab wound from his old lady, couldn't escape big fat Ben Roethlisberger laying on the ground for the touchdown, and then Vanderjagt shanking it, off to some back alley, attempting the game-tying field goal? Like, is this worse than that? And I think it is. Because OKC was beatable last night, man. They were beatable.
So the Lakers weren't beatable? I mean the Pacers won a couple games in 2000, didn't they?
They did. In 2000, they got beat 4-2 by the Kobe Shaq Lakers.
Yeah.
And that's when Kobe Shaq were coming into their prime, right?
Yeah.
That's different. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's good, but man, this wasn't the Kobe Shaq Lakers. It wasn't the 95 Bulls. It wasn't that Warriors team with Draymond and Steph Curry. These guys were beatable. And the Pacers showed up last night. For the first 7 minutes, we're here. And then the injury happened, and it just sucked the life out of everybody. Here's Rick Carlisle, head coach, after the game.
He authored one of the great individual playoff runs in the history of the NBA. With dramatic play after dramatic play, it was just something that no one's ever seen. And did it as one of 17. That's the beautiful thing about him. As great a player as he is, it's always a team thing. And so our hearts go out to him, but so proud of everyone.
And that's what really hurts as a Pacer fan. It's such a good group of dudes. Haliburton is such a good guy. And to have that happen, not only do you lose Game 7, but now he's out probably all next year.
Changes the whole dynamic of the roster.
Right.
For the Pacers organization.
And all of your offseason plans, they've changed overnight. Now what do? Who do you move up to the starting lineup? Who do you keep on the bench? Do you sign somebody?
Who do you draft?
Well, they don't have any draft picks. They traded that.
Oh, yeah.
Because they thought, hey, we're pretty set here. We might make a trade.
Oh, that's right.
You can't even really make a trade now, really, because it just stinks, man. It just stinks. And KB will join us here in just a little bit. We've been talking about social media and the cesspool it's been ever since the bombing of Iran. And look, we know we're not going to change anyone's minds here, right? There are certain topics where nobody's going to change their mind. And whether you think this Iranian strike is right or wrong, there's nothing that you and I are going to say, Nige, to where somebody's going to be like, you won me over.
It's not my job to change your mind, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't care if you change your mind or not. I just care if you listen to the show. You don't have to agree with everything we say, but when I start this show trying to change your mind on something, I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to be entertaining, maybe a little informative, but I'm not trying to change your mind on anything.
But we will call out some bull crap when we see it.
Okay.
And that brings us to social media. Because everybody that has posted a photo of President Obama, I miss these days. I wish we had President Obama back in the mix. Keep in mind what your guy had to say during a debate with Mitt Romney just a few years ago.
Because a nuclear Iran is a threat to our national security, and it's a threat to Israel's national security. We cannot afford to have a nuclear arms race in the most volatile region of the world. Iran's a state sponsor of terrorism, and for them to be able to provide nuclear technology to non-state actors, that's unacceptable. And they have said that they want to see Israel wiped off the map. So the offers Iran a choice. They can take the diplomatic route and end their nuclear program, or they will have to face a united world and a United States president, me, who said we're not going to take any options off the table.
Now, if I would have just taken that transcript, Nige, and showed it to you, who do you think would have said it, Trump or Obama? I bet a lot of people would get that wrong.
Of course. And let's not forget, Obama bombed Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Pakistan, Yemen, for God's sake, Somalia, Libya.
And we started wars with all those people? Is that what you're telling me?
For
No.
Christ's sakes, he dropped 26,000 bombs in 2016.
Narrator, but then he gave billions of dollars to Iran and pallets full of cash.
Exactly.
But the fact of the matter is, if you take those exact words that we just played you from that debate against Mitt Romney on national television, and you just showed it to the average person on the street who said this, I'm willing to bet 95% of the people would say it was Donald Trump. No, it was Barack Obama. And then you've got the L.A. County Sheriff's Office in a now deleted post they put out on social media.
Okay.
They were basically apologizing to the people of Iran for the United States strikes against their nuclear facilities. This is from the verified account of the L.A. County Sheriff's Office. Quote, "Our hearts go out to the victims and families impacted by the recent bombings in Iran. While this tragic event occurred overseas, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department is closely monitoring the situation alongside our local, state, and federal partners." Blah, 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 blah.
It's not like they were bombing neighborhoods. They were military installations and nuclear enrichment facilities.
Bombing neighborhoods is the Iranian.
Yes, that's their MO.
Right. Right.
They were sending bombs into Tel Aviv.
They have since deleted that post on social media.
Probably a good idea.
The L.A. County Sheriff's Office apologizing for the bomb that eliminated a nuclear threat from the world's biggest state sponsor of terror. Social media is such a cesspool.
Love it.
And again, the operation, this whole thing was called Operation Midnight Hammer. Midnight Hammer.
You got a lot of jokes out of that one.
Ooh, boy.
I would have liked it better if it would have been, you know what? Just like you call Lucas Oil Stadium the Hoosier Dome still.
Yes.
Which makes no sense whatsoever. Just like you call Ruoff Deer Creek, I am going to call this Operation Hammer Time.
Operation Hammer Time.
All right?
Okay.
That's what I'm going to call the operation that over the weekend Donald Trump initiated, Operation Hammer Time on Iran.
I would have also taken jokes on that. Because you got to remember, when I was in middle school, that's when MC Hammer's You Can't Touch This came out.
Yes.
So I heard every MC Hammer joke imaginable.
Yes.
Hey, but you can't touch this. People pointing to their crotch and, hey, Hamroid. Okay, thanks. But yeah, Operation Midnight Hammer sounds like a new fragrance that we've created from Hammer and Nigel perfumes.
Oh.
New from Hammer and Nigel Fragrances. A cologne for lower class men who like lower class women.
Excuse me? What the hell?
Its distinctive smell is a mix of Beech Grove Walmart shopper and a Waffle House fart. It's a little Mountain Dew and a whole lot of bourbon. It's Midnight Hammer. Just 2 squirts and you'll smell just like Jason Hammer at 12 a.m. right before he disappoints the coupon lady in bed.
Wait, you're done? That's it?
Taco Bell, beer, donuts, sweat. It's all here. Perfect for any man who's been disappointing women sexually since 1995.
Jason Hammer here. I'm ready for love, even though I was just on the toilet 5 minutes ago.
Midnight Hammer. Exclusively from Hammer and Nigel Fragrances.
I hate you so much, you fat ass.
The hottest selling fragrance on the market.
Oh, God. A perfume for lower class men.
And here's a little trivia note. That fart that you heard was Swalwell's fart on MSNBC.
Is that what it was? Yeah, Fartwell.
Audio of Eric Swalwell's fart. Matt Bear, what's going on?
East side southbound 465 is stopped from East 56th Street down to Penn Pike. The right lane is blocked because of a medical emergency. After that, a crash southbound 465 before I-70. The left center lane is blocked. Inbound 69 stall on the exit to 465 backed up to 96. And on the west side, southbound 465 stopped before West 71st Street down to West 38th Street. After that, stop and go traffic from an earlier vehicle fire. It's clear. This is from Crawfordsville Road to West 10th. West side crash eastbound 70 at Harding Street, blocking the left lane. Stop traffic back to Holt Road. Traffic sponsored by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping and code radio and get an extra 5% off. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Midnight Hammer.
I love the ingredients, including sweat. There's sweat in the Midnight Hammer cologne.
Donuts, sweat. 93. Holy jeez. 93 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
I mean, is there a marketing place somewhere that has actually tried to come up with cologne, and somebody came up with the idea of saying we need to market to lower class men? That's my favorite part of that whole bit.
And the voiceovers of the coupon lady.
Yeah.
What the hell? 93 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Are you okay with this? Next.
Type 1 and type 2 diabetes are not the same. So why are they often treated like they are? Join us for our free Holistic Integration Educational Seminar, Diabetes Decoded, a holistic look at type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Wednesday, June 25th at 6:30 p.m. You'll hear from Dr. Robert Prather, host of the Voice of Health Radio.
The less you have to take of the insulin, the longer you live and the healthier you are. Almost every single patient that we've treated with type 1 diabetes have been able to cut their insulin levels in half.
The Holistic Integration Free Educational Seminar, Diabetes Decoded, featuring Dr. Robert Prather, Wednesday, June 25th at 6:30 p.m. Those who attend will receive a discounted autonomic nervous system test for only $49, which measures key indicators that affect your blood sugar, energy, and inflammation. Reserve your seat by calling 317-848-8048 or online at thevoiceofhealthradio.com.
Indy Decorative Concrete is the best in the business when we're talking about locally owned custom concrete. Nobody better. Trust me, I know. I had a front porch and a sidewalk that were falling apart, needed completely replaced. Indy Decorative came in and they took a basic sidewalk and porch and turned my front area into a custom stamped concrete space with even more space and an absolutely awesome, unique look. So right now, you're looking for a new patio to replace the old cracked concrete you have, or you want to get rid of that old deck and put a patio in, you got to go to IndyDecorativeConcrete.com for details. By the way, everyone who works for them is a W-2 employee, no subcontractors coming to your house. Our project manager was the owner's son-in-law, so whether it's a new patio, sidewalk, porch, whatever, don't do anything until you've checked out IndyDecorativeConcrete.com.
Are you dealing with foot, knee, hip, or back pain? Well, it sounds like you could use a spring in your step. Hi, this is Phoebe with the Good Feet store, and I've got just the thing to help you spring forward into comfort. Good Feet's unique patented 3-step arch support system is designed to reduce pressure on your joints to keep you feeling energized all day long, even when you're running on an hour's less sleep. With less pressure on your joints, you'll also experience less pain and discomfort too. When you visit the Good Feet store, we'll take time with you to figure out what you need on your free personalized fitting. You can also take all the time you need to walk in-store to feel the Good Feet difference personalized for your feet, your shoes, and your lifestyle. Most of our customers say they feel relief immediately, and you can too. Make your appointment today at goodfeet.com. Don't just live with the pain, discover your options and spring into comfort at the Good Feet store. Come in today for your free personalized fitting and test walk. We're in your neighborhood. Visit goodfeet.com to find the location nearest to you.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Hey folks, Scott Wilson here from Wilson Farm Market, just 20 minutes north of Carmel. We're proud to bring you the freshest produce farmed right here in Indiana and across the Midwest. And don't miss our home-style fried chicken, scratch-made bakery, and a deli packed with ready-to-go favorites. Got a sweet tooth? Check out a variety of old-fashioned candies, the kind that brings back sweet memories from your childhood. At Wilson Farm Market, we're all about local freshness, friendly faces, and food that feels like home. Wilson Farm Market. That's Wilson Farm Market.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
The Attorney General's Office, reuniting Hoosiers with over $1 million in unclaimed property every week. Visit indianaunclaimed.gov or text Hammer and Nigel to 46220 today.
Are you really okay with this? Are you okay? Everything's gonna be okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm pretty far from okay.
Are you okay with this? On the Hammer and Nigel show.
Oh, yeah!
During a concert in Arkansas, Jeff Boggs' favorite country musician, Luke Bryan, stopped the show to address that he was struggling with his voice and didn't sound quite right. And here's the payback he gave to the crowd.
I'm going to refund everybody their tickets tonight. And we're going to keep doing the show, okay? We're just going to make this what it is.
Wow. So they still did the show, even though he sounded like crap. Are you okay with this?
Yeah.
And gave everybody back their money.
Hey, if you're somebody that bought tickets for that, you get your money back and you got to see the show anyway. Yeah, I'm all right with that. Now, I'm sure Jeff Boggs probably would have been booing in the crowd as soon as he said, I'm going to keep playing anyway. Boo!
We'll have to ask him about that tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll have to play this sound clip
Yeah.
for the world's biggest Luke Bryan troll, Jeff Boggs. We'll get his opinion on it tomorrow. But no, I'm totally okay with that. And this brings us to great moments in Luke Bryan stopping the show history.
Oh.
Now, Nige, you and I grew up listening to like a lot of hair metal and classic rock stuff, right? Could you ever imagine Motley Crue or Van Halen stopping a concert because somebody threw a bra on the stage?
What?
Luke Bryan did.
When you throw a bra at someone, kind of watch the face. Don't hit me in the face.
Man, hit me right in the face with that bra, baby.
It's something where your boobies were. One girl down there goes, oh, it wasn't me, mine won't fit in them. We'll put it with the others.
Could you imagine Tommy Lee going, excuse me, hold on, stop the show. A bra hit me in the face. Could you imagine Eddie Van Halen stopping a show in 1985? Hold on. I thought we were adults around here. Somebody threw a bra on the stage.
When it was Van Hagar, they would have extended guitar solos so that Sammy Hagar could go down and have intercourse with groupies, random groupies under the stage, and then come back out and perform. But no, Luke Bryan can't have a bra.
Topless women is not what Motley Crue stands for. It's not what Van Halen stands for.
I could not imagine a scenario like that at all. No.
Kevin Bowen from 107.5 The Fan. He's going to join us next. We will dissect what happened last night and what's next. What's going to be the off season for these Indiana Pacers? That conversation coming up right after the news.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Haliburton's injury, a torn right Achilles tendon. Now, the season that was. 92 on Monument Circle, nothing on radar. A heat advisory in effect today and all week. I'm Chris Davis. Here's what's trending.
And now, a WIBC News Spotlight.
The Pacers made their first NBA Finals appearance in a quarter of a century. With the series tied at 3 in Game 7 against the Oklahoma City Thunder Sunday night, things quickly unraveled for Pacer guard Tyrese Haliburton in the first quarter, as called by Mark Boyle on the Elevance Health Radio Network.
Topping out of the near corner. Up top, Haliburton falls down, turns it over, and this will lead to Gilgeous-Alexander to the other end, where he sends it to Williams for a dunk. And Haliburton is face down in the Indiana offensive end. The trainer, Josh Corbeil, rushes out to take a look, and even a concerned Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is checking on Haliburton. Indiana will take a timeout.
Haliburton had to leave the game with a serious injury and was not able to return. The Pacers managed to go into halftime with a 48-47 lead. Things came apart after that, and the Thunder would go on to win their first NBA title. Pacer head coach Rick Carlisle says it's now time to appreciate everything Haliburton did in both the regular season and the postseason.
He authored one of the great individual playoff runs in the history of the NBA.
He hit game-winning shots in the playoffs against the Milwaukee Bucks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and in Game 1 against the Thunder. He also hit a shot against New York that helped the Pacers win Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Pacer forward Pascal Siakam finished Game 7 with 16 points. His heart full of appreciation.
I'm super proud of everyone, and I really do love these guys, and I'm super appreciative of the opportunity to be here, and kind of gave me my, that joy for the game again, and I'm super grateful for that.
Before they left Oklahoma City Sunday night, Pacer players T.J. McConnell, Obi Toppin, and Pascal Siakam thanked Pacer fans, along with their head coach, Rick Carlisle.
We wouldn't be in this position without them. They willed us to a lot of wins.
With your WIBC News Spotlight, I'm John Herrick.
1, 2, 3, let's go! You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
The Hammer and Nigel Show. My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there with a very special guest on the hotline.
Kevin Bowen is part of the morning show over at our sister sports station, 107.5 The Fan. And KB, it was the worst possible scenario last night for this game. Like, I don't know about you, but just from a fan's perspective, I would rather lose by 50 and have all my dudes out there and knowing that the better team won than having your alpha, your star, a guy who got out to a great start yesterday, go down with a devastating injury that early on. Like, the what if is going to drive Pacer fans crazy for years. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's unfortunately very, very spot on. When you think back to this franchise and injuries, Paul George breaks his leg on a very random July night, USA basketball exhibition game, not, a huge deal from a sporting event standpoint. Victor Oladipo suffers the quad tendon injury on a, middle of the week January game during the regular season. You have your biggest night in franchise history, and as you just laid out, Haliburton had that look. I mean, the 3 threes he hit, he's chirping at somebody in the crowd. I mean, he showed no ill effects, I thought, in Game 6. He wasn't overly extended from a minute standpoint. I had almost forgotten about the injury, weirdly, and then as soon as he goes down, and guys, just the imagery of it all. I mean, pounding up the ground, and, mouthing no, if I could read his lips, when he turned over and said to Josh Corbeil, their athletic trainer, I did it. It just, boy, I got chills right now just even saying it. It's just one of the more horrifying sports images I've really ever seen.
And it was confirmed earlier today. It was a torn right Achilles. Now, this is a long recovery. Like, we're still upset about the game last night. We're hoping Tyrese can recover, but this isn't like some sort of quick fix here. Achilles are a long process, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if he played next year. I mean, I hate to react in that manner, but that's just how Achilles are. I mean, it's 10, 12 months, pretty much anybody you talk to, and you have to remember, the playoffs started in mid-April, so if you want to be optimistic on the 10-month aspect of it, that would be the start of the playoffs. Are you really going to risk him being back, then? And he's dealt with, a lot of leg injuries in the past, really, year. This is a calf strain that he was playing through. He had the ankle injury early in the postseason. If you remember last year, he got hurt in the Eastern Conference Finals with a hamstring. There were some questions on if he would be on Team USA, and he was with Team USA, not really playing much, but in practice he aggravated that as well. So, again, this is a guy who's been dealing with a lot, and, as bad as that sounds and as harsh as that injury timetable is, I just think there is probably just, all right, you take the full year off, you get a full healthy off season, and we'll see you again, in the fall of 2026.
I was listening earlier this morning, KB, to your morning show, and you almost sounded just despondent. So much so, I think I heard you say, and I'm paraphrasing here, this loss in Game 7 makes me not like sports.
Right.
Is that kind of the emotions you were having this morning? And what kind of calls were you taking from your audience?
Yeah, I mean, I apologize a little bit. What I try to do is just frankly, I want to be honest more than anything. I want to share exactly what my emotions, my feelings, my beliefs are. I don't like to be kind of hot takey and things like that. I want to say things with substance, and I try to just share how I was legitimately feeling. And I'll be totally honest, I think my wife would be fine saying this. When Tyrese goes down, I mean, she started crying.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I mean, just to kind of just that, I think there was a very interesting aspect to this Pacer team, and I don't know if you guys felt it. It felt like watching a high school or college basketball team walk off the floor at the end of last night. And by that I mean this. When you go to these high school sporting events, when I was in high school or certainly after, and you watch a team's season end, the emotions are everywhere. The players are probably getting emotional. The parents are certainly getting emotional. Maybe the students. You probably have coaches and administrators having to console some of these players. That was the scene last night. If you stuck through the entire ESPN broadcast, which, trust me, I have no issue with you bailing on that.
Ooh.
But if you did see, I thought, some excellent, really, cinema, and they stuck with the Pacers walking off the floor. And there is watery-eyed Aaron Nesmith. There is having to be consoled T.J. McConnell. There is Reggie Bleepin Miller standing outside the locker room hugging these guys. There's Tyrese on crutches.
Yeah.
That's not your professional sports image. That's not how we view pro sports. But yet this team, A, they were good, B, they were entertaining, but most importantly in terms of memories, they were likable and they were unpredictable in a good way. And I think those last 2 points are so, really kind of sum up, I guess, Nigel, why I was like that. Of like, if you are a youth sports coach right now, you want to show Pacers tape. You want to say, share the basketball like them, fight like them. I mean, it's just a unique angle to a professional sports team, particularly in the NBA, that I don't think you always get. And obviously the history of this franchise and all of that probably plays into some of the feelings as well.
We're speaking with Kevin Bowen, does the morning show on our sister sports station, 107.5 The Fan. So, KB, what do you think this does for the Pacers offseason primer? Prior to that injury, it seemed like, okay, maybe you find a big that can rebound. If you let Miles Turner walk, you got to find somebody that can fit. That was what I was hearing a lot. But now, with the real reality that you're probably not going to have Tyrese Haliburton either all of next year or most of next year, what do you think that does to the Pacers offseason plans?
Man, it's a great question. We could probably talk about it for an hour, and unfortunately, as soon as he went down, I think so much of those questions that you might not have entertained were right there at the front burner. So Turner is a free agent, and unfortunately, he battled an illness early in the series, but he was arguably your worst player in this series from a meaningful standpoint. He got benched last night. He only played 40 seconds in the fourth quarter of that game, and I thought Chet Holmgren really outplayed him. Miles certainly has been an unbelievable soldier for you. He's due big money. And I think the question you have to ask yourself is, A, is he worth it? B, how much does the Tyrese Haliburton absence hurt him? Because I think he'd be the first to tell you my game has ascended with Haliburton. Now, if he's out for a year, the impact on that. And then lastly, this is kind of where Miles has some leverage. It's not like the Pacers have a bunch of centers waiting in the wings. They played a ton of centers throughout the season, and none of them really offered consistent impact. Ironically, their two backup centers to start the year both tore their Achilles back at the start of the season in Isaiah Jackson and James Wiseman. So that is the first question that you would have. And then I also think, kind of playing off of that, do you look at the money you were going to send to Turner and say, wait a minute, we might not want to give him all that money. We might want flexibility for a guard now that, needs to be added to the team if Haliburton's going to miss all that time. Benedict Mathurin, very volatile, but certainly he was a big-time player last night for you. He was your third leading scorer in the finals. What do you do with him? He's due a contract extension. He's still under contract, but he's due an extension if you would like. Is that something that you try to explore? So there are a lot of questions. I will say the Eastern Conference, I think, is very wide open. Boston, their best player, Jason Tatum, also tore his Achilles in the playoffs. So, that is maybe in your favor a little bit. But, you had this sparkling championship window you thought of kind of 2 to 3 years. And unfortunately, in one game last night, not only did the current championship window obviously evaporate, but, maybe even next year's championship window is gone as well.
All right, last thing here, KB. Unfortunately, living in Indy as a sports fan, we get to do these types of things here. I want you to rank in order the most soul-sucking losses for professional sports teams. Was it the Pacers last night with Haliburton going down early, 9 points, 7 minutes, looked like we were here to play, and he goes down, or the Colts lost to the Saints in the Super Bowl, or the year before that Pittsburgh Steelers game in the RCA Dome where Nick Harper couldn't get around Ben Roethlisberger's fat ass on the ground, and then Vanderjagt kicked one into the bathroom. Like, rank these soul-sucking losses for us.
Yeah, and just to be clear, that was the Red Garter bathroom that Vanderjagt missed that field goal to, not the Lucas Oil Stadium bathroom. Oh boy, that's a great question. Obviously, hindsight's 20/20 with the Colts. They got their Super Bowl the next year after the Steelers lost, so that probably covers up some of it. And then with the Saints game, as brutal of that onside kick as it was, you already had one Super Bowl. Last night, and I guess I kind of said it, guys, it was a double whammy. You lost the championship last night, and you were, hell, you have the lead at halftime. I think part of why it stings so much is because you got so close to it. It'd be one thing if we're just talking about Game 4 of the NBA Finals, and, they had a great opportunity that game, and you've never won a title, and then, of course, the Haliburton injury. You add up all of that as a franchise, to me, that's probably atop the list. And, at some point, I will get past, well, no, I won't. But at some point, I will be able to sit there and say, this season had incredible memories.
Yes.
When you think about it, guys,
Yes.
This season had so many memorable moments, especially in the playoffs, the historic comebacks, the Haliburton shot, all of it. Like I said, it was unpredictable. You were the underdog in 17 of these 23 playoff games, and you got to the final game of the season, and this might be a bad analogy, but it's like being in this great marriage, and you're like, oh, man, my wife is so supportive, and she lets me do, I can play golf whenever I want to and go out drink with my buddies, and she's a great mom, and we go on great vacations. And then it's like, oh, wow, is there anything bad about it? Well, the only thing is she's kind of been cheating on me with this guy at work, and they have 2 kids together.
Jesus, Kevin.
Well, it's like damn,
It's a perfect comparison, though.
It's like, how do you bury the lead like that? That's kind of how the Haliburton injury feels to me. It's like it was a memorable season beyond belief, and then that is the ending of it all. I can't ignore it as much as I want to, and it's just another reason why I hate injuries so much.
What's coming up on the big show tomorrow?
Well, on Tuesdays, we do usually have Rick Carlisle. At some point, hopefully, we can chat with the Pacers head coach. Obviously, want to be super respectful of where they are at right now as a franchise. Last year, he did come on after they lost the Celtics. So hopefully, at some point, he will join us. But we will start to turn the page. I mean, I know we hinted at it a little bit earlier, but yeah, we will start to turn the page. And what are those questions? Because the NBA cycle goes quick, guys. The NBA draft's Wednesday night. I mean, it's crazy. When you make it to Game 7, it just really shortens your off season, I should say, by a whole lot. So we'll start hitting that.
Kevin Bowen, 107.5 The Fan. We appreciate you, man. Thanks so much.
You bet, guys. Have a good one.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Don Fisher here for QC Kinetics. I want to share with you the best thing I've done for my knee pain. I've been hearing commercials about the groundbreaking treatments that QC Kinetics offers for months. Meantime, my chronic knee pain had hit an all-time high threshold. I wanted to stay active and enjoy playing golf again without the pain. So I decided to call and book an appointment. And what I found out was that QC Kinetics is the non-surgical solution. I have no knee pain and feel like I did 10 years ago. And it's all because of the non-invasive therapy from QC Kinetics.
Discover the solution to joint pain with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. For a free consultation, call 463-282-6886.
I'm back to playing golf and enjoying life. Take it from me, this is the best call you can make to relieve your orthopedic pain.
For your free consultation, call QC Kinetics today. 463-282-6886. 463-282-6886.
Lately, the market has been making some big moves, and not all in the right direction. If you've been watching the numbers and wondering what it all means for your retirement, you're not alone. At Howard Bailey Financial, we plan for times like this. The truth is, a volatile day on Wall Street can feel a lot different when you're getting closer to retirement. That's why right now is the right time to take a fresh look at your portfolio, and Howard Bailey can help. Are you taking on more risk than you realize? Are you diversified in a way that makes sense for where you are in life? Find out today with the help of our free Market Volatility Guide. Visit retirewithpurpose.com to download your free guide and learn more about what market shifts may mean for you. That's retirewithpurpose.com. Together, let's make sure your plan is built to weather whatever comes next. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Home sales are good, just not great. So many homes have been properly marketed or just sitting on the market. Hiring the wrong sales agent will cost you time and money. Hire the expert who maximizes equity and sells fast. That's Mark Dietel. Maybe you want a fast, guaranteed home sale, but you don't want to give up hard-earned equity to do it. Mark Dietel is the only real estate expert trusted and recommended with the sale of your home. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed-upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Just pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. John in Greencastle said, I just bought a home in Greencastle, and shortly afterwards, my son moved to Fishers, which left me an hour away from family and 45 minutes from work. A big mistake, and I felt stuck since I had been in the home for less than a year. I asked the Mark Dietel team for help, and they delivered big. My home was sold in 14 days for the price I needed, and so I could move closer to family and work. Call the local Indianapolis agent, trusted and recommended, the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietel, 317-755-4232. Get all the details or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark Dietel, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietel.com.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet, so make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with national LTE coverage. Go to rapidradios.com and you'll get up to 60% off, free UPS shipping. Add code RADIO for an additional 5% off.
Tired of digging through noise to find real news? Go straight to WIBC.com. Local stories, statewide impact, national headlines, info that matters. When news breaks, WIBC.com is already on it. Stay on the know while you're on the go.
It's a hot one out there, Matt Bear. Any issues with the roads?
We've had a rush hour hammer. Looking at the east side, southbound 465, the crash cleared before I-70. Still medical emergency blocking the right lane before Penn Pike. That has a stop and go back to East 56th Street. Looking at the west side, southbound 465, stop and go traffic before 71st. Down to West 38th Street. That's because it looks like a disabled semi on the right shoulder, partially blocking the right lane. Please be careful as you move through there. Inbound 65 stop and go from MLK to Meridian Penn. Construction delay on southbound 65-70 from the north split to the south split. In Hancock County, eastbound 70 is slowing down before and after County Road 200 West. That's between Mount Comfort Road and State Road 9. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Right now, B Window is extending their employee discount to you. Get 55% off all products and services, plus 18 months, no interest or payments. Trust local, trust employee owned, trust your home to bwindow.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Heat advisory in effect until Friday. It's going to feel like it's over 100 degrees basically throughout the day, every day this week.
Give it to me. I love it.
93 right now at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center, and we've got a lewd, nude dude in the news.
Here's another lewd, nude dude in the news. A 21-year-old pantsless woman.
It's a lady.
Was arrested in Iowa last week at 4 a.m. after she was caught burning stolen American flags. Serves you right. Brianna Laird also kicked the officers and had drug paraphernalia. But again, the key word here is pantsless.
Pantsless woman. Now, here's what I've learned about these stories. Now, I've not seen the mugshot of Brianna Laird.
I have.
Have you? Because 90% of the time, the women who are pantsless, you do not want to see them pantsless.
I've seen the mugshot. I wouldn't necessarily not want to see her pantsless.
Okay.
I would rather see an ugly woman pantsless than see the American flag burn, though.
I'll agree to that. That needs to be on a new T-shirt in the merch store. store.hammerandnigel.com. A picture of Nigel looking like George Washington. I would rather see an ugly woman pantsless than the American flag burned. How is that not on a T-shirt yet? The new patriotic line is out, by the way, store.hammerandnigel.com. We've got it on our Facebook and Twitter. If you order anytime in the next 3 days, order by Wednesday, you will get your patriotic Hammer and Nigel gear by July 4th.
Do it.
So do that. But this story of this 21-year-old pantsless woman burning stolen American flags, there are so many different South Park references we could make here. Because on one hand, Randy Marsh, like getting into a fight at a Little League game without pants on. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was America. And I believe it was also Randy Marsh that was part of the flag burning protest.
You just keep all your flag burning and your hippie rock protest songs on your side of the town.
That's it.
And Randy Marsh was dressed like Elvis on the other side doing a war is no good rally, burning the American flag and singing like Elvis.
You know, I'm glad we're having a good time here because I feel like this entire day, this building has been downtrodden. Like everybody in this building, like for the sports guys across the way here, and it doesn't seem like there's anybody here today either.
Everybody's in a bad mood.
Is the Juneteenth tree still up for some people?
I don't know.
Like there's nobody here, but everybody
and the people that are here are mean.
Like just downtrodden. Guy Relford was like sad that the Pacers lost.
I saw John Herrick punch a guy earlier. Walk back in the newsroom, punch somebody right in the face. I think that Pacer game has really broken the spirit of a lot of people here.
So I know we only got 30 seconds left here, but like, where are we at with the Pacers loss? We could be positive. Great season, exceeded all expectations.
I'm angry. Not angry at the team. I'm angry at the circumstance.
Yeah.
Like the basketball gods owe us. The Simon family have been great owners. The Pacer fans have been great.
Yes.
We got screwed in the brawl, and the basketball gods blow out the Achilles of our star player when he gets out to a great start, man. Come on. Where's the karma here? The Thunder already painted the championship bus before the game.
Oh,
and
that
it
sucked. I
pissed
hated
off
seeing
Rick
that.
Carlisle.
I know.
Where's the karma? Where's the justice? I feel like Serrano in Major League. All right, Joe Boo, I stick up for you. I say all these things. You know, help me now. I say, bleep you, Joe Boo. I do it myself. And that's where I'm at right now. Come on, man. I hate the way that played out. this really was the worst loss in sports history here in the city of Indianapolis.
I agree.
Just an awful kick in the crotch. Coming up next, speaking of kicks in the crotch, the United States military delivered one to Iran. We've got that coming up, and we'll talk more about the Pacers, but let's focus on the positive here. We put a boot in the ass of a nuclear facility in Iran. That's got to count for something.
Okay.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or Sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1-day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Kandula. Outside of Advent's 4 walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Most insurance accepted.
Attention Indiana homeowners, are you dealing with a wet and moldy crawl space? Hi, I'm Adam Swain with Swain Co. Crawl Space and Basement Repair, your real, local, Indiana family-owned experts dedicated to fixing your crawl space right the first time. And with our new no interest, no payment financing, you can get the repairs you need without breaking the bank. Don't let crawl space water problems dampen your spirits. Call Swain Co., Indy's most trusted waterproofing experts at 317-407-1868 or swaincollc.com.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not